So who's ready to perform in a Dance Dance Revolution contest to unlock the secrets? Oh yeah. Welcome back to Do Warforged Dream of Electric Sheep. I'm Darren, the Dungeon Master.
Darren? Do they dream?
I mean, if you're going off the canon rules, they don't. But fuck that. But yes, moving on. Our lovely cast of castness is left to right. Go.
My name's Amy. I play Zora.
My name's Ian. I play Risbet.
My name is Ian.
Neil's down a tunnel right now and can't come to the phone, but my
Yeah.
name's Laura, I play Coda.
Cool. So when we last, what the fuck do you remember last, Ian? That's a good starting point. It's a good.
You were there for the dragon, right?
I killed the dragon.
Oh yeah, you fucking cut up a fucking dragon kid. That was really nice. That kid was going to college, you beast. Anyway,
Well, not anymore, because he's dead.
he's going to 2 colleges. 3 technically. Anyway,
I still have the foot, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Ian.
Arisbet.
But
God.
we have a good party, Dad. Anyway, moving on. No, I can't.
Hey, look, we've all harvested body
Look,
parts
we've
at
all-
some
we've
point,
all-
you
we've
know,
all
it
poked
happens to
fun, but-
everyone, you know?
Fucking
Look,
acid
everybody's
dragons
making
are
something from
fucking evil,
somewhere.
okay? The goddamn chaotic evil motherfuckers. I don't give a shit. Moving on. So yeah, you did that. You got inside, didn't you? Ian? You ran from the oncoming acid storm kind of thing.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, and you got inside, and that's kind of roughly when you departed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's cool. Right. So basically, the party got inside this facility. I keep saying facility, although that's way too a modern word, but I'm going to keep using it because I ain't changing that. So they got inside this building that was kind of on its side, kind of sunken down into the ground. As they proceeded, traveled through it, they came across rooms with Warforged that some look like they died peacefully in the sense that they literally dropped dead. Sorry, excuse me. They just dropped dead. Others looked like they had seen battle, perhaps died from their wounds. Wasn't 100% sure what. Other rooms looked like they were clawing at the doors to get out, like something had gone wrong, that kind of thing. But as they went through this and found all these corpses, they also found a body suitable for Doc to kind of assimilate to. That's probably that's the right word. Assimilate to. So he's a 6'5", or he's taller than Coda. Just make sure you note that down because I really got on.
How dare you?
What's it like being small, Coda? Anyway, so he's tall. He wears glasses. He's got a few fins on his head, like metallic fins. He's in a robe, although for some reason Doc always in my head is in army attire. Like those green slacks with the boots. I don't know fucking why, but I always picture him as a generic Vietnam medic.
He's an army medic.
Yeah, I think that's why it's what I associate with. But yeah, in terms of.
But he's not in an army medic body though, right? He's in a different body.
Just in a war. Yeah, he's in a Warforged body, but he himself was I was a medic back in the day, that kind of thing.
Yeah. He was a Shaylin,
so,
right?
Well, he he was a Shaylin branch, but he fought.
Did Ian hear about the different factions? Were you there for that?
I may have been.
It was there was
essentially
followers
a general,
of different.
Essentially
yeah, I was here for that.
Polaris, Warforged, kind of resemble what all kind of had a similar design, the fins and stuff. A singular eye seems to be a kind of recurring theme, but it's not limited to that sort of thing. Shaylin are kind of a bit beefier because they're meant to be warrior, the Guardian guys, so they kind of need bigger bodies for taking bigger hits, that kind of thing, protecting smaller targets, that sort of. Anyway. But yeah, so he was he had got accustomed to his new body. He pointed out that his vision's a bit wonky, so he's kind of stuck glasses to his face at the minute. But he's oh yeah, I can work on that because he's a medic. So a medic in terms of Warforged, he's a mechanic essentially. So he's I'll get to that down the line. The group proceeded forward. The place was in kind of disarray, complete complete fucked upness. They left some of the NPCs behind. I believe Doc and Kay went with the party.
Yeah,
but the rest were kind of we're just going to catch our breath here and make sure nothing comes behind us, that sort of thing. So the party proceeded forward, and this place was in ruin, destroyed. They were kind of checking rooms for stuff, and they found kind of oh my god, Sheba, I don't care, go away. They found essentially a large container which contained many charges of chain lightning, I believe it was, or maybe it was lightning, but it was one of the lightning-esque
Yeah, it was
spells.
chain lightning.
Yeah, it was a load of charges in this big vat thing. So the guys pocketed it essentially best they could and brought it with them. They eventually found, like, through their way, a large rickety walkway that's kind of like in desperate need of repair. I believe like some of the walkway came away, like chunks of it, and they had to make rolls. And I think was it Izzy that didn't make and kind of okay, yeah, I wasn't sure if it was Coda grabbed Izzy or Izzy grabbed Coda. But either way, someone lost their footing, but no one took that like damage, I think. But like nothing was fatal happened or anything like that. So they took this big winding staircase, like a zigzag kind of staircase, all the way down, like the big metal thing in this vast area. And like coming to the end of it, they saw like a small light in the distance, and they were like, "Oh yeah, let's go towards the friggin' light. It's the only thing in the friggin'. Let's go there." And as they approached it a little bit, they noticed like the whole light switched on, and it turns out it wasn't a tiny light; it was like a gargantuan colossus. It lit up the whole room, like they were basically like looking into the eye of God. And it asked "Who" in one big voice, and it ended there. So it's kind of safe to assume that it could be Polaris. Just a guess, but probably not. So yeah, that's kind of that's and we pretty much ended it on the big "Who" thing. So yeah, so hold on, let me just.
And that was said in binary, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, sick!
It moves
That's
as well.
awesome.
I'm really angry. They don't support GIFs. I made a 1080p GIF, but I'll link it now.
Oh shit!
Darren, that is fucking beautiful.
Gorgeous.
I was like, I'm gonna do this, and I was like, I'm gonna make it move. It's gonna look great, and then I was like, it doesn't move.
So pretty. The composition.
But yeah,
some Roger Deakins lighting right there, Darren.
Oh man, now I can retire happily. Oh, he's such a... Roger Deakins in a class, lad. Hold on, there it is. I was kind of hoping that like it could play in the background kind of thing, but I was like, apparently they don't support GIF, but I could have swore it worked on something else.
You probably have to have the like premium thing or something.
I think the premium sprites just use a different like format, because I've definitely seen sprites with flickering flames on I think it's like a like some sort of an elemental. So I was like, oh, it must work, but like it must be like some separate coding on it.
Well, I know what image I'm putting on next week's episode card.
There you go. That's the moving version. That's essentially kind of like how it looks like in the room. You guys keeps going dark to light kind of thing. But yeah, before you is a gargantuan bright light. Debris and rubble is all around you. To the right of your guys looks like colossal plating. Might be looks almost fingernail-esque, but it's like, in the as the further goes back away from the light, it's kind of hard to distinguish a shape. But you could probably guess. So yeah, guys, what do you do?
Of course.
And Neil, you actually have to roll for that?
No, because you've never made a helper before. I could just turn into a wolf at will. So, what are you gonna do?
I mean, cure your life.
Yeah, do it.
Goes away.
Do it. Meow. We're gonna divert. Let's go on a mini quest against the giant eye to cure Esme's wolfism.
I like how everyone's already in character. Like, this is just so...
I think Neil's always in character.
I think Neil is a character.
Oh.
This is why I love Ian the most.
Yeah, there it is.
Thank you.
I do love Ian the most. I fear Amy the most.
Ah.
Yeah.
Mine is an evil laugh. No, guys.
Yes.
Skeletor aside, so someone break the ice.
Are you Polaris?
A large tone, like affirmative tone, rings out. Not in binary, but it's just kind of like a noise that like one might assume to be positive in nature. Like it's a case of when it rings out, like you hear debris fall and like dust and pebbles kind of fall and hit you in the shoulder, kind of like nothing to cause harm, but it's more just a case of like, oh, that's dust. The whole building's shaking. That kind of thing.
Does Izzy say that in common or in
No, binary.
Yeah.
If she's talking to him, she's gonna be talking in binary. She'll translate the important parts. And And this way, if you guys do it, like say anything stupid, she doesn't have to translate it.
That's a very good point, actually.
We've come here on a mission. We've come here for information. We were given a gift by a friend who knows the truth about this world, and he told us to come here in order to use this. We've heard so much about you, and what happened?
The light dims slightly. To like kind of like in that game where it's like goes like dark and then bright again. You hear like metallic moving about, like kind of like metal on metal that hasn't been oiled in any time soon, kind of like pistons firing. And then you simply like Izzy, you hear binary, but it kind of like as he speaks, like the binary kind of rolls into common, to the sense that like he's clearly like speaking in common. So like like it's not that he's speaking in common. Like Izzy would know it as binary, but like she can tell like she wouldn't technically do that. So basically, the others hear common when he speaks, but when he speaks, Izzy hears binary.
Okay,
Cool.
If that makes sense?
Yeah.
But he's like, our destruction here was our own undoing.
Say that again, please, Start.
Our undoing here was our own fault. He's like, our advancements in equipment reached a point where they became unstable, and when dragons attacked, their breath mixed with our experiments created a cataclysmic reaction that, well, he's like, look around.
When did this happen? How long have you been like this?
Too long. This happened, and if you could scratch his chin, you would. It's like centuries ago, near millennium, maybe. I have lay here, awaiting someone to carry on my stead. And like as he says that, out of the shadows, you see like a really small, well, not really small actually. How big? Let me think of something to compare it to. The size of a basketball, but a cube, is pushed out from the shadows. Like you hear like some sort of mechanical like thing, like a piston, like pushing this thing out, and it's like scratching the cube's metal on the grate around you, metal kind of thing. It's like ear piercing. And he's like, "These are all that remain of my libraries." And like you hear a piston retract, and it's like this black cube, a matte black cube.
Ooh.
He's like, there are millions of entries. It will take some time to decode, but I think some of your party are up to the task.
We've encountered things like this before, and she points to the cube, and they've been objects of power, or things that amplified power, but they've never been libraries.
Ah, you've encountered Mother Uria's failsafes. Very good.
Come again?
He's like he kind of sighs, but like in clear, like not in like a ugh way, but in clearly like, you know, kind of like a like an old man catching his breath, that kind of thing, to like speak. I'd like to think Esme's breath stinks because she's in wolf form. Yeah. But yeah, he's like her fail-safes are essentially like conduits for her power. And if you've encountered one, it means the other three are still out there and the key hasn't been created.
What key?
He goes, the key to, and as he starts to speak, your ears start going crazy to the point where, can everyone give me a con save, please?
Yeah, give me.
Of course, guys. No.
Do we get a bonus from being near you, Ian?
Yeah.
How much?
2? Sorry, I couldn't find my sheet.
Yeah, there's no rush, man. Don't worry about it. Okay, everyone's fine. Like in the sense that you don't take damage, but like you still see the nose bleeding. It's kind of intense, like really intense. Like instead of just like kind of like a single like droplet coming down, like say your right nostril, this thing is like it's flowing out of both, and like he stops speaking immediately when he sees it. And he's like, he's like, no doubt we're going to have to cure that. And
That's that's part of why we were told to come here.
he's like, hold on. Like essentially he's like, hold on, and like you see the light go dark again. And off to the right, kind of like over here, you hear like pistons going 90, like crazy. You like, and like you catch like really thin like strips of light coming out of like tiny cracks. Like it illuminates enough that you can just catch glimpses of this being's size. This thing is fucking huge. Like you might hazard a guess that if it's a head in the sense that it's in a traditional two eyes, mouth, nose kind of skull format, it's clearly on its side. Sorry. It's clearly on its side, and if you were to just have its head, it would probably take up the entire vast area you're in. But like this thing kind of like, you know, you see the lights flickering like crazy, and again you hear that kind of like raw, unoiled metal on metal, like screeching, piercing your ears, kind of push out. And essentially what's pushed out before you guys is, it looks like kind of like a wishing well, but just kind of like a fountain. Sorry, a fountain's got that basin, the lip, the bowl kind of thing, and there's kind of like this weird mechanism in the middle, and there's kind of like an opening for like what looks like a jar or a container, kind of like to the one that like you were given. And he's like, we call this the crucible. You will be melted down and reborn free. He's like, if you wish to know the truth, if you wish to go forward, you essentially have to do this. He's like, put the liquid in the container, and like, you know, essentially he's like, you see like when he's like talking to this, like the iris, is it the iris? Like kind of focuses like to, it's more like a spotlight, and he's like darting around, kind of like being like, do this here, do that there, like kind of instructing you. And like he's like, there's kind of a slot for these weird syringe things you were given, and he's like, and put them in here, and then, you know, in unison, because everything in unison looks better, you know, take the plunge.
When you say broken down and reformed, are we still ourselves? Do we still remember? Or do we start again?
He's like, fear not, little tiefling. Your bodies are not physically broken down. It is simply an expression.
But our minds, I mean, are we still ourselves?
It's like, in a matter of speech. He's like, you would simply be you, but more enlightened. But just take heed, weary traveler. Once you take this plunge, there's no going back. After this point, if you take the plunge, there's no, I never asked for this, I want out. You're standing at the precipice of the rabbit hole. Taking this plunge, you go down, there's no climbing back up. Once you take this plunge, you're in it for the long haul. You are welcome to leave if you think you can survive getting back out. But just know that if you take this plunge, you're going all in, baby. He doesn't
I'll
say
walk
that.
over
He
to
says
me.
that in a way more cryptic old man
He does
voice.
not say baby.
My Justin McAlroy, it's a shine through there. But yeah, it's a case of it's just like, you're going, it's fucking all in, motherfucker. But yeah, it's a
Yeah,
case
I'll
of
walk
like,
over to the thing. I'm like doing it. Yep.
yeah, I'll fucking do drugs. I'm just I think
I mean, he's offering enlightenment, Darren. This is kind of my jam. Yeah, I'm into this. I'll do
I
it.
know, but I don't know why, but Coda in this exact moment reminds me of that bit in Peep Show where Mark is like, pretends to be on ecstasy, and he's like, I think I'm getting the famous The Munchies, and they're just like, shut the fuck up, Mark.
Don't ever compare Coda to Mark because it's too real. Please.
Oh, it's too real. But yeah, guys, essentially, like, it's a case of like, if you want to learn more, you have to do this.
Yeah, dude.
So does everybody step up to the plate?
Yup. With
Esme,
bells
is he?
on.
Like, you may be hesitant. It's not a case of like you say yes and everyone's like, oh yeah, why?
Oh, I mean, in character I'm hesitant. Out of character I'm like, oh yeah.
No going back. And she walks over to it.
Nice, Esme. I need vocal confirmation.
She looks up at the eye and she returns to her human form and she says, "What the fuck have you been doing? We arrive here, trekking across half a world, burdened by responsibility, and then you say, oh, there's no complaining the other side of this. So when do we get to complain? Because I've got a few fucking complaints, and you're a millennium old Star Warforged, and you're just lying around.
Damn
If you're so
millennials.
great and powerful, but you just fucked up with the dragons and whatnot, what the fuck are we doing here? We don't get to complain the other side of this? And then I'm not fucking doing it right now. Because I got some fucking questions. We're told about 5 Starborn Warforged coming down and all of these things. Why the fuck are we here doing this then if there's all-powerful gods sleeping under the earth? Why do you get to lay around and we don't? Why don't we get to just be free without it?
Have you wondered why your enemy hasn't simply walked into your house and killed you yet? Why their apparent armies haven't descended upon you and, with quite ease, ripped everything you guys loved to shreds within instance? So that never wondered why, like, oh gosh, the infinite dark above, why has it descended upon us? It's never crossed your mind why it hasn't. Why, if you have encountered some, it's only ever been drops from the bucket.
You can start this. You can take this route of like, oh, we're still doing plenty. I get it. I understand that it's not as cut and dry as you can't just get up. You can't get up. And she just like waves her hands out wide inside.
It's like, I can't. Not anymore, but a Shaylin can.
And like, how do we do that? What is there to be done about this other than us walking over there, injecting weird shit into our bodies, and then selling our lives down the river for this cause? Because I already have causes. I've got 10,000 causes. I get out of here and I've got 100 other responsibilities to do. And you're asking me to take on one more. But this time it's different because you're not from here.
He's like, I assure you, if this responsibility isn't taken on, all of your others cease to be. What responsibilities do you speak of, young Elijah?
A lich far off in a snowy land that we still have to deal with. The people that we try our best to speak to protect, defend, and to fight alongside at every turn. A dinner that will be probably one of the most dangerous things we'll ever do because, like you said, there's nothing stopping them from bringing us there and killing us right in front of everyone else, other than our reputation. And And all of it, regardless of what we try to do, what we stand up and defend against, there's still something else. There's always more.
Exactly. All those worries are insignificant against the coming tide.
No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they are not. No, they're not. They are not. You are wrong. You, big giant machine, you are wrong. You are 1000% wrong. Because if we are not focusing on those people who are in danger, then whatever big fuck off dark energy monster we have to fight for you is not fucking worth it. I'm not turning my back on those people just to start a fight with a problem you should have dealt with when you did have the power to go.
It is true that I have been... Hold on, let me think of the word.
You're a god, you don't need to think.
Yeah, that's true. Subpar in my responsibilities towards this realm. But I had my mission, and I carried it out at the expense of everyone I was given care for. Every single one of the people, like thousands of them. I was given, I was to care for them, and they all died. Every single one of them. Not one of them lives. All of them gone. I'm the only one left. I've been like this for probably over a millennium. All because I carried out my mission. And for what?
To be here, to hand us a mission that we have to carry out in the hopes of taking that on board and ignoring others. This is not your responsibility alone. There are, 4 other of you? Uria, Shaylin, Orion. What have they been doing? Have they no power that they can exude out onto the world other than a paltry defense? We are told that we have forgotten everything we knew. We have forgotten the world that was. But they're sleeping. We were sent here to the cavern of the sleeping giant, to where you rest. Are the others resting? And if not, why aren't they the ones going out into the world beyond what is now and taking the fight to these monsters? Because in my book, giant Warforged mean a hell of a lot more in terms of defense capabilities than anyone else. We're small. We're tiny. And the other tiny people that we want to protect matter more. They are what matters ultimately.
You want us to do work. You want us to wake, yet no one remembers. How can we possibly be woken up to do what you want us to do if no one remembers us? And anyone who gets close remembering dies. And now you stand here on the edge that you can remember. You can remember and you can proceed forward by learning more. So you can do what you want to do, yet you argue against it. I never said it was easy, and I sure as... he wouldn't say hell, but you know what I mean. I sure as heck don't ask if it light of you. If you do not wish any part of this, you may exit the door you came, although you won't survive the way back. Not because of the dragon, not because of my defenses, but because the enemy you so passionately want to stop are on their way here. And they mean to absolutely rid this place of all existence, you included. Because why wouldn't they want to destroy you? Every time they've wanted to, they've got somewhere close. You 4, there we go. I read your head. You slayed father, did you not?
Oh, I guess I'm talking. Yes.
I mean, you're the one pointing the finger at the giant.
Yeah, the rest of us are all ready by the machine, like, yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
She said, all right, no, we did. Because we took that on. Because that was... Do you know what that was? You know what slaying father was? A fucking romp. We did that because we brought that one, and she points to Coda, to go and find out stuff that he had learned, interesting stuff. And that turned out to be what? Another big honking responsibility. So great, we've come here to the end of the world, and now there is no way out. So it's do this or don't do this, but either way, we're fucked. So thanks. Thanks to you, to Uria, to Ashaelin, Orion, and whatever the other one is. Thanks for making it so we can't be normal. We can't just be people. We have to be avatars for the great future. We have to be your people. Because you don't have the sense, you don't have the scope to understand what life is. How could you if you've been down here for millennia? You must be fucking mental. Because I'm going mental, and I still get to see the world. But fine, I guess these are the options. And she takes out the rod of Pelor, and she just holds it out in front of her. She says, I'm content to keep waiting. But the longer I wait, the other options come up on the board. So if you people, you powerful people, you immortals, don't start pulling your weight, you'll be left behind in my fucking dust. And she walks over.
As Esme holds the rod out, it starts to get brighter and brighter to the point where it gets so bright it illuminates most of the room, and then it short circuits in quotations, that kind of thing.
When Esme comes over,
Better late than never.
When Esme comes over, Isidore says, "We're gonna make this ours. No matter what they put on us or what we find out, we're gonna make it ours."
Yes, we will.
And when it's done, then we can be people.
I mean, probably won't. I mean, 100%. Like, you see, she points at the fountain. It's like, you see this puts that as a complete non-runner. But I appreciate the hope, because I'm all out, and she's just ready to go. It's like, where do I jab it? Jab me.
Yeah, it's essentially okay. So the receptacle, yes. For the weird jar thing Dave gave you, I can't remember who technically has it in their pack. But whoever. Oh, 1 second.
I think I did. But I'll sort it out anyway. Unless Esme and Risbeth still had theirs from the time they tried to.
From the time they did inject themselves, and Esme puked snakes, and Risbeth had like a galaxy in his eyes.
Yeah.
Sorry, eye.
Yeah.
Does he still have like stars in one eye?
No,
of course.
No, it disappeared after a while.
Oh,
So, like,
that's a shame.
essentially the jar has been put in, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. And, basically everything's been put in for the machine to work, essentially. So, you guys slot, when the last syringe goes in kind of thing, because it seems to only activate when all four have agreed, in a sense. You see, you hear a lot of crunching again, pistons, kind of heavy duty, old school. We know it as tech rumbling and crunching, and you see the jar descend into the middle, and there's a lot of steam coming off, and after a while, you hear water. It sounds like really obnoxious, like water being poured into a vase or to a glass, really like that, just really loudly. It's just all really overbearing noises, or just assaulting the out eardrums. And then you hear a click, and the syringes kind of pop out towards you guys, essentially ready to be taken. You pull them out and inject them. But before you, Polaris says, "This is the water, and this is the well. Drink full and descend."
Poetic. Let's get it done.
The temptation. Internally, Esme is screaming, "Oh, I guess it took him a millennium to write that."
Yeah, I'll do the thing.
I'll do the thing too.
She does the thing.
Cool.
We
Yeah.
all do the thing.
Yeah, it's a case of
In unison, because it looks cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In unison. Once more with feeling, kind of. Does like, everyone injects, and the second you inject, like, your iris or your eyes, like, is a pupil? Your pupil. I'm fucking terrible at these. But yeah, it goes completely, like, just takes up the entire eyeball kind of thing, like, and the wind is knocked out of you, and you kind of find yourself bracing the rim of the bowl, like, for support, and like the center machine that you put the jar into, say, is gone. Like, you can't perceive it essentially, and in the where the like bowl is, it's just darkness, and like when you guys look down, like it's like kind of colors are kind of like being pulled down, like your reds or yellows. It's a kind of really vibrant, really high saturation, and like you feel it's almost like if you're being pulled into it, and you're kind of like trying to fight back, like, no, thank you, that's not nice, and like you feel like your face essentially getting pulled longer, like kind of like down into it, kind of like it's all stretched, all really elongated, and then you remember. You remember Uria. It's when you were last there, when you got your ID cards, you met ICM, you met Kath. She gave you that really big roundabout way of stealing the book, which is still one of my favorite.
I love that.
That was great. That was so fun. That was just so like, they're robbing a fucking candy shop. But it's that time. It's that time in and around that area, and for like you remember, like, it's in fragments, like it, and it's also going to be kind of like in a sense a TLDR kind of format because like obvious reasons. But if you remember, you've seen snippets of like just days where you're just like, oh yeah, we did this. We like, oh yeah, we went to that cave and we got like a bit of money and then we sold it and we got that and touched up our. That was nice. But you remember kind of like Cass being like, oh, we should just kind of chill, and like you don't remember any of these conversations. Like you're seeing them unfold before you, but like you're kind of like, this is the one. And Cass is like, yeah, we should just. You guys need to rest. Let's just rest and get our bearings and go forward. Kind of like she's devising a plan or something. She's like, oh, we'll get to the bottom of this kind of thing. And you realize she's talking about like avenging your dad, like Harkin. She's like, I want to know who killed him. I want to I want in on this shit. Which now kind of like makes you realize why she was so like, yeah, you can set a portal up in my house, go for it. I don't give a fuck. Like, he's like, oh, because like it was probably her idea from the beginning. Not her idea, but she was like, no, this is a stepping stone in that direction kind of thing. And she was like, let's just lay low, look at, change the armor, just go about, like, pretend to be normal, in quotations, for a while. So for a while, everyone goes along with it. Like, you guys essentially are still wearing your armor in terms of stats. Like, not that we'll need stats, but like just for peace of mind. Like, Esme's kind of like wearing like typical, just like literally generic adventuring leather armor. I think you just had normal leather armor then, didn't you?
Yeah, well,
it wasn't the +1. Yeah, the +1.
It wasn't the studded.
Yeah. Sorry, yes. But
wait, hold on.
Like that.
Is my armor +1 armor, or is it just?
Is it? I can't remember.
I think it was just studded leather, and that it was like.
It was just exotic as fuck looking. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so yeah, again, we'll get back to that. It's minor, but like Risbet's kind of wearing like heavy armor, but it's not his armor. People are just. It's kind of like an odd, quiet time. Like we see like everyone coming out of like a really nice shop. Like Esme's like straight up carrying a really stereotypical like brown paper bag. And everyone's laughing and just kind of like, yeah, let's just, we're meant to be keeping track. Like, Kat is working her contacts. It's nice to have a week off, that kind of thing. And you're walking through the streets and it's all nice. It's a sunny day. It's pretty picture perfect, kind of hazy looking back on it, kind of like, like everything's super exposed, that sort of thing. But a glow off the whites, that sort of stuff. And then you hear a massive bell toll, like a colossal bell toll, like to the point where it's like, what the fuck is that? And like, you notice it's coming above. And you all look up and it's like, you can't see any bell. You're like, what the fuck? I've never heard this before. What is this? And before you is like the street you're on. You can see like, big tall buildings on the left, big tall buildings on the right. Cool. And suddenly the shadows cast start to move. Like everything like drags to the left. It's almost like the building, like a shadowy carbon copy, so to speak, has been dragged out to the left. I apologize. Scratch that. It's not a carbon copy of the building. It's kind of like, as everything's dragged to the left slightly, it's like the negative space between the two buildings is slowly becoming a building, like a building that's in like the space in between, and it's kind of like dragged to the left. And notice you guys are kind of like having a similar effect onto you, like everyone on the streets all kind of like dragged to the left, kind of like this weird negative of people. And it's like going to the left, but then it starts to kind of rise and turn upwards, almost like the anchor point is at the top of Uri, and it's kind of like, you know, being pulled upwards to the point where, like, you, like, as this unfolds really slowly, like really hazy, really heavy on your head, when it finishes rotating, like above you, like floating above Uri, is like the negative space, negative of Uri. Like, so the two, imagine the two, like the Mechanist and Mage's tower. The negative in between them is just a single weird distorted outline of, say, a singular tower, and that's in the middle. Like, that's in the middle of this, like, you know, like negative space area. And joining these two Urias together is a gigantic black eye, like kind of smoky, inky, like looking right down on you guys. And like you guys just hear like this massive bell toll, and like kind of like it's almost like the eye locks eyes with each and every one of you, despite only being a solitary thing, like a singular thing. Sorry, not a solitary thing. It kind of looks and just kind of like almost a hiss or a growl or roar, and like you're like, what the fuck? They're like, this is what's guys, what's going on? This is, and like you hear Rizbek kind of being like, guys, I don't imagine that, right? And he, like, you know, Esme's looking up and just like, what? And like he's pointing off to the right, and like in the middle of the street is I think you might have actually fought one in this game, but I didn't use the right name. It's like, I think it's in the PHB or the Monster Manual. It's got because a chained devil. They're kind of like these big burly red dudes with like chains all out of them. They look like they're in straitjackets, but the chains dangle from them. But there's like one off to the side, and it kind of looks like he's like coming in and out of focus, but it's like he's not hitting off invisible barriers, kind of like he's in his own like little cell. He's like trashing and beating off it and stuff. And like Rizbek's like, I'm not imagining this, right? And like everyone's like, what the fuck is that? And like there's like, no, this isn't real. This is some weird fucked up magic trick kind of thing. And then you hear a scream to your left, and there's like kind of like a similar demonic creature with like big wings and a big, literally like almost stereotypical like trident kind of thing. And it's after impaling a woman with her shopping, and she's like screaming, and she's like, oh my, what the fuck? And like you guys are like, oh shit, no, this is real. This isn't happening. This isn't fake. This is legit. And like, you know, the shopping bag goes down. Everyone like pulls out their weapons. Oh, good. And complete chaos just ensues. Like out of like creatures, both in the traditional sense of like demon, not things you'd see on the street. Oh god, no, Ian's after crashing. Oh fuck. Hold on, I won't. Yeah, we're just gonna pause there, guys. Sorry, I don't want to ruin it for Ian in the sense that he just has to get like a TLD or oh, this happened. So yeah, sorry,
we'll pause.
We'll
I just need to digest all this for a second anyway. Holy shit.
Okay.
Darren, what the fuck? What's happening?
I mean, you guys wanted answers, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Neil,
wait, there's more.
Of course, there's tons more. Yeah, no, Neil, I have to say, everything Esme said is everything that's been on Isadora's mind for the last, like, 3 months. Like, she was just like, well, why do we have to do it? Why do we have to be here?
Isadora has said that to me in our downtime chats as well. Like, that's just constantly what you've been saying. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why us? Why us? Why not someone
But that
else
was
with
it.
power? Like...
But it was literally like, it was the same thing with. This was literally sounds like what Coda got from all of his downtime, because Esme said the exact same thing. It's like,
Yeah,
this
she
is
did.
an absolute hassle.
It was really funny because I was having those two conversations pretty much simultaneously, and you two were saying like the same exact thing, and it was really interesting.
So proud I told God to fuck off.
So am I. It was
Oh,
so
it was
good.
such
It was
a
so,
good, like,
so,
speech.
so good.
Well delivered too. Holy shit,
Oh yeah, it's class.
that was excellent. More importantly, we're in the Upside Down, and everything's terrible.
Should have watched Stranger Things to know what context is going on.
No, this is very much not the Upside Down. This is something entirely new and awful, and I don't understand it, and I don't appreciate it, and I just, yep, it sucks. Real bad. I mean, it sounds
I
like
like
the
it.
only way
I
this is
want
going
to
is that we
see it.
die in this version. Like, I can't imagine us surviving this. Are we like, did we like die 1,000 times and keep being reborn? Is this a thing?
No.
Because it really feels like we're gonna die in this version.
Oh, ye of
Are
little
we in
faith.
Uria or
Nega
Nega Uria? Are we in Nega Uria? Because the Mage and the Mechanist towers are merged, and that's Nega Uria.
I mean, if anything, you guys were looking at Negayuri, if you want to go with that concept.
Yeah, but like, as in now, are we in Nega Uria?
Oh, I get you.
Like, did we
yeah.
swap
Well,
to the
suppose-
Nega world? Are we in
Yeah,
Nega
I
world?
get you. Well, realistically, you can go with that concept, like, idea if you want, but you, like, definitely haven't been home to see if there's a solitary tower in the center of the area.
This is true. Dream World had a solitary tower, right?
Yes, at the end, at the center of the labyrinth.
With Fuckface's dream.
Yes. Hello, Ian. Are you
Ian!
back?
I'm alive. I'm back.
Yay!
Hello, friendo.
No!
Yeah, we're all dead.
Are you good to continue, Ian, old boy?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So, now where was I? Oh yes, in the pit of despair.
Nice reference.
Anyway, sorry, I'm really giddy because I've literally been like waiting to have this scene for like fucking
yeah.
like what? How many years have we been playing this game now?
Year and a half.
A year. Yeah. Oh man. But anyway, sorry. So essentially, chaos ensues. The four heroes, the regular four, believe, fight. You fight with all your might. You defend as many as you can within reason, like, you know, within logical fucking reason. Like, as much as you guys are talented individuals and, you know, up to this point technically unmatched in battle, like, you know, there's like only so much four individuals can do in a city that is completely like littered with creatures and just nasties of all shapes and sizes. Some in the traditional sense that like they could be tied to, like, say, demons or demonic forces or just general like evil creatures that you would, like, out of character we would know that, like, you know, you'd find in a dungeon. Then there's more kind of like abstract and weird ones that are kind of like amalgamations of just like it's just really like kind of like Lovecraftian body horror kind of creatures. Like, it's just chaos. And as you're seeing this all unfold, like, you're remembering it, but your bodies are remembering it. Like, you feel like when you see Esme get like stabbed through like the right shoulder by like a stray demonic, like in a traditional sense, like a horn devil kind of things, like blade, like, you know, she's kind of like, well, shit, yeah, no, my shoulder is sore there, and it's almost like the scar reappears, like it's always been there, but you just couldn't perceive it because you were told you weren't allowed to, that sort of thing. And this all goes, and like your body remembers as much as your mind does, and you guys remember like that siege of Uria essentially, and like for like 2 straight days you guys just gave it. So you like met up with Kath, you met up with like as many as people as like Kath couldn't usually do. Like, you met Bulkhead Bill, and I'm technically before you met Bulkhead Bill, like Kath was like, literally, this is Bill, he's a bro, he's my friend, like, we need to help people. Like, it's a case of like the Watch were just going crazy. They were trying to like strike Warforged that were clearly brandishing like rebellion insignias, and, you know, it was like a three-way kind of thing. Like, it was just some of the Watch like put their stupid shit aside and like, we need to protect people. It was that kind of thing. It was just complete chaos. And on the second day, the solitary tower above Uria like roared, like it erupted, and like you saw, like, as much as it looks gargantuan and in turn it looks very close, but only when these dots started like descending from it did you realize that this thing is fucking, like, it's absolutely massive. Like, it is huge. Like, it's bigger than Uria. Like, the tower itself is probably like the width of Uria, that kind of thing. And as like these dots start descending, like after a certain height, when they're coming towards you, they see it's like almost like they like break through the clouds. You notice purple robes and like golden helmets, and those kind of weird, like, metallic, like really long brimmed wizard hats that you associate with the orchestra. And they just start flooding the city. Like, these things are just like, there's like hundreds of these things just coming out of this tower. And as they descend, they're like, you know, blasting, like, you know, barb devils, horn devils, chain devils, like weird abstract creatures. Like, some of them are playing flutes and like kind of playing music. And as they play music, these things kind of like fade out of reality, that sort of thing. They fade away. And it's all just like, they seem to be stemming the tide, sort of thing. Like, Esme has like a very aggressive confrontation with one. Like, she gets one up against the wall, and it's like, motherfucker, and like this individual is having none of it, and like you know, punches her back, and it's again, there was a calm, and then the storm kicked back up again. Like, it was just absolute crazy shit. and it's a case of like, say that's Monday night, like this, like the last segments of this siege, it's Monday night, and 11:59 p.m. Jesus, like it's dying down, and then 1 minute past midnight on Tuesday morning, you guys are sitting in cats. Everything is perfect. The city has not been touched. No, nothing. It's like, oh, should we steal that book for Kat? We want to get her on our side, guys. Like, it's just changed. Like, the orchestra clearly like hit a reset in a sense, but now you know that they did. Like, it's a case of like you guys popped. Like, they clearly used like between the minutes of 1 minute to midnight and 1 minute past midnight, like the eye just went crazy. Like, you see this thing trashing about and like it's screeching, and it's almost screeching in like agony. You don't like, you can't tell if it's enjoying it or if it's against it. You don't know. It's screeching, and all of a sudden it just clicks, and no one remembers it. You don't remember it now. You do, but at the time when you're sitting on that couch, you're just like, shit. Yeah, Kath is kind of on the fence about us. We should probably like gain her favor. Yeah, let's steal that bloody book. Yeah, screw it. Let's go fucking do it. Yeah, let's go case the judge. Let's look at that, and you do, and then it proceeds. But Esme and Icarus, you guys in particular, due to your backstory in the sense that you grew up in this city, this has happened plenty of times. You remember as children when you were friends, you remember playing together and like seeing like buildings warp out and bleed in, and creatures like coming up from realities and planes of existence that they shouldn't be allowed to. There's like meant to be a veil there, but apparently there isn't, and these things can just cross at will and run around like run amok. And you've actually seen orchestra-esque members. Like, the robes kind of differ, but the color scheme's always the same. A purple main body and a metallic, like purely metal, kind of weird warped wizard hat. And you can't see the eyes. You can just see two glowing eyes sitting out. But that's the kind of recurring image. But you guys have encountered these countless times throughout your lives. They like reset time and time again. Issues pop up, and like you, Esme, when you were like just learning to like in your teens, I know ladrons that are fucking different with their ages, but you know what I mean. In your teens, just learning to like scale rooftops and like like go to places you really shouldn't, that sort of thing, and really pushing your like roguish abilities. You noticed like a mechanist individual that looked really high up. You'd know like a high ranking officer, that kind. Because sort of creature like is pushing him, and you're like, oh my god, man just died, and all of a sudden like, well, you see the orchestra hat like, shoots up in the frame, like, and all of a sudden Esme's like, oh, what'll I do today? Maybe I'll go annoy Icarus. So like that kind of like, it's like a pop, like it's reset or like edited, and you don't remember, you didn't remember, but now you do, that sort of thing. But also, it's worth noting, guys, that as your bodies remember this, you also remember all of the, in terms of video game mechanics, the experience you get, and you feel faster, stronger, better, almost like you got a level. So congratulations on level 9. Yeah,
level 9.
Level 9, congrats. But yeah, it's a case of like a. Ooh, nice. But yes. But yeah, like I know Izzy and Risbet, you guys wouldn't have necessarily been in Uria, and it's all kind of originating from there. So it's a case of you guys wouldn't have grown up like noticing the orchestra. The Izzy and Risbet, the weirdest thing you guys are remembering about like snaps, like time snaps, is maybe like on say Monday night, Izzy, you were reading a book, and then technically like 1 minute to Tuesday, like 1 minute into Tuesday, you should be still on the couch reading that book, but suddenly you're back in your room, like kind of like, oh, what'll I do today? That kind of thing. Same with Risbet, like you might have been out hunting, like helping your tribe with like, we need to get more deer, guys. We're all hungry these days. And all of a sudden, boom, you're like sharpening your sword, and it's just like, oh, yeah, this is what I was doing totally 2 minutes ago. That sort of thing. Like, it's not like you don't notice orchestra members, but like it seems to like kind of like the snaps and the tears are still present in your lives, if you know what I mean. It's just not as
so obvious. It's like when they change time in your, it like affects everywhere else.
Yeah, it's a ripple, but as it kind of goes out, it's not as drastic, like as in say like people like that died are now either alive again or no one remembers them, so their influence doesn't exist, that sort of thing. Whereas your guys, it's more just like, I was reading a book, but now I'm cooking dinner. Okay, that's weird. Like that sort of thing, it kind of teeters out. And it's obviously like if you guys had like say Alex with you, that sort of thing. Well, not actually not Alex, but if you had like say Bones, someone from Dead Man's Haven, their stuff would be like really minuscule. It kind of ripples outwards from Yuri to the point where like they kind of don't get anything crazy. They'll get tail ends of distortion. So like say magic is really crazy and wild, and like there's surges everywhere. But it's like in terms of say like someone being alive or someone just no longer, oh shit, he's dead. Well, he no longer exists. No one knew him. He didn't have a family. Bye. That sort of thing. That doesn't really kind of happen in Dead Man's Haven. That kind of. But it's a case of like you guys see it play back as we'd see in movies. So that's kind of like you kind of get the ripple effect explained to you through that sort of thing. But yeah, you're on. So it's a case of when it's crashing back to you. You guys know that you're on like the same time zone, the same time scale. You haven't like flipped. Maybe you're in a area. Maybe you have to go home to confirm that kind of thing. You're like, yeah, but it's a theory your character could easily come to. Like I'm not saying no, like Jesus, by all means, but you just need like proof. That's right. Which I encourage. That's great. But it's a case of you guys know you're on the same plane of existence. It's just in terms of calendar, just for the sake of it. In the game world, if you talk to a random officer on the street, like, hey buddy, what you were there, boy, what day is it? That kind of thing. And they'd be like, oh, it's like fucking like it's like September, dude. It's coming winter. And it's like, oh, actually, it's like March of next year. That kind of thing. It's like there's, and they pile up, but there was a massive gap missing, and it's just like all these like time bumps just kind of like add up to the point where you guys are like remember the time they stole from you essentially, but like. Yeah, if that makes sense, it's kind of like, but yeah. So you guys remember like the eye, you remember the orchestra's tower, you remember like inverted, like I just like in my notes it's called inverted Uri, but like negative Uri works. Like the negative spaces are like where other buildings are, that sort of thing. And yeah, like as for there was no queen when you were a kid, and the queen suddenly popping up is still a thing, but it's almost like a snap again. Like it's like when Dave explained to you guys the like realities bending in on each other, that happens still. Like but you kind of like from outward looking see it kind of happen, and you can kind of put it together that it's like this doesn't make sense. Like literally, like say Tuesday night there's no queen, Wednesday morning suddenly there's a queen. Like it's not a snap, it's more a case of like realities are bending in on top of each other from variations, like from ripple effects, and everything's just kind of like coming together in one big clusterfuck. And yeah, Jesus, that was a lot. It's a lot to digest, so I'm just going to stop talking.
Well done.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you, friendos. But yeah, essentially what happens to your... Oh, I keep clicking Photoshop. I keep going to open... I don't know why. I like playing, but having Discord open in front. I don't know why. But like my Photoshop icon is right beside my Discord icon. I keep clicking it. Yeah, essentially like when your characters are going through this like monumental like remembering, you guys essentially like are like reeling and thrashing about, and it's like that weird fucked up like long face like colors whizzing past you like screaming, oh jeez. But then like when you guys come to your kind of like hunched over, hands are still on like the rim of the bowl kind of thing, and it's like, oh jeez. But like you kind of get the vibe that like maybe 20 minutes or so has passed, that sort of thing. It's just kind of like time has passed, your body is kind of reeling from this realization.
Esme sits down and draws her knees to her chest, and basically she is having a very tense moment, but an untense way of saying that is she's in a grump. It's just like frowny face, chin on knees. It's like, this is some effed up ass.
So now you know comes from Polaris.
You can speak freely now. Tell us everything.
Well, let's return to our very passionate Eladrin's comments regarding our inability to do anything for you. My position...
Good. I'm just going to add to the list that you took away, childhood memories. But that also wasn't your fault directly. That was mostly the orchestra's. But, complicit acts and stuff like that. I'm over here now.
After all this, you still think it is us that did that. If he could scratch his eyes or his brow, like his nose bit when people are irritated, that kind of thing, he would. He's like, my dear, we didn't do that. We, to the best of our ability, have stopped worse ripples from happening. The great engine, like the almighty kind of like, singular like God, the machine God. It's like, well, we are like essentially first line descendants, give or take, like in that, like, in terms of hierarchy, it's like him, them, she, doesn't matter, whichever you prefer, then us. We were essentially the first offspring, that kind of thing. Call us what you want. We go by our title that we refer to ourselves are harmony engines. Our song keeps the eye's magic at bay, but Sul is dead. I'm dying, and will very, very soon. Shaylin sleeps, Mother Yuria works. Have you ever wondered where all our kin went? All the countless warforged that apparently should be littering this land. You ever wonder where any of them went? It's like they're beneath Yuria. They're sleeping. They're in her vault. It's just locked. It was a failsafe. Her failsafe. For when the flesh bags came and decided to take what wasn't theirs and destroy everything they didn't understand, they were sealed away. Not everyone made it. A lot had to stay outside to distract the coming storm, the armies that were laying waste to cities with a blink of an eye, if you pardon the pun. So Mother Yuria hid as many as she could, as many as her vault could take, and they're still down there. And while I have my library cube, she has her failsafe cubes. There's 4. When joined together, they'll make the key that'll unlock. And I assure you, if you want to remind the world as to, whose land this rightfully is, they're all down there. Simply sleep. Like, as he explained this, you kind of have like a weird residue of that ping in your ears, but it doesn't hurt. It's just kind of a case of like last minute feedback, that sort of thing.
Darren.
Hello.
Out of character, I might have just missed it. Did he mention Orion?
In his rant, he didn't mention Orion, though.
Esme points that out. What about the other one? What about the giants in Orion? What's going on?
One sec, guys, sir.
Guys, I have 60 hit points now.
Oh, nice. Sorry. Yes. Orion sleeps as well, but Orion, when the order come, and they will come, don't make no mistake about it, they're coming. Our engines are failing, our song is failing. They will come, and it will be messy. Orion is at ground zero. That's where they land. We've calculated it. That's where they're coming. Orion sleeps, gathering her energy for when the big drop happens. If she leaves, if she exposes herself, you've seen like that city. You've seen what they do to things they don't understand. They either destroy it or cage it and take it into their little inverted palace in the sky. And if they were to discover Orion, our first line of defense would be gone. If they discover Yuria, like proper Mother Yuria down below beneath the city, then what remains of our kind are gone. What the last remnants. If they destroy a Shaylin, then we have no soldiers in the war. So, yes,
soldiers in a Shaylin.
No, as in a Shaylin is the soldier.
Oh, sorry. I thought you.
No, it's fine.
I thought you were integrating that there were more soldiers under Shaylin. My apologies.
No, most of the Shaylin's men and women were wiped out in the great culling of our kind.
But our kind still exists. I mean, okay, we're browbeaten and we're abused, but we're still here.
He just kind of like, at that.
Like,
It's
what
not-
I mean is, every warforged in existence isn't, like, buried under Uria.
That is correct. Some have died. Some have gone home. But I know what your Adrian says is true. It's not ideal, but when we were faced with extinction, it was the best we could do. Wasn't it's the best we could do? It doesn't mean it was the best thing to do, but at the time, it was either that or face oblivion, and we tried the best we could. So, judge us if you wish, but frankly, I don't care. Oh my god, Toshiba, go away.
What was your mission?
To fuck
Gather-
off, apparently.
Mine was to gather as much information as possible and preserve it. Should future generations, essentially do what you're doing now.
How do we do to others what happened to us here? How do we remind them?
If you destroy the eye, it would remind them. On a global scale, that is. But as for marching them in one at a time to do what you've done here is frankly out of the question. Because my powers are dwindling, and to conjure up the crucible was draining the tank to its last drops. And there's only one last thing I can do with that energy, and that's not for you, it's for the people coming here.
But isn't there any other way that we can remind people? We can't. We're 4 people. We can't fight this thing with 4 people. We need help, and like we're gathering help, we're getting help, but they need every bit of knowledge that they can get in order to help us.
The sleeping warforged under Uria never forgot because they slept before the world forgot. Wake them, and you'll have an army that remembers. An army that is angry, and an army that is determined to fight back.
Warforged Rising. Oh, how ironic.
And what are they gonna fight back against? Just the Order? Or against every living person who is on top of them in your area right now?
That is for you to decide, Miss Tanner. Wake them, they'll see you standing over them. Hand them a sword and tell them to kill those who persecuted them, or tell them to face the oncoming darkness.
Surely they think for themselves.
Oh, they can, but they're aware that they've been sleeping. Like, they went into that vault willingly. So they know they were promised someone would wake them from their sleep, their slumber. And when they do, they'll, like anyone would want an explanation. A lowdown of the world they now live in. So it's honestly, like, in that regard, it's up to you. It's like, you can give them the lowdown. You're like, this is what it is, this is what's happening. Make your choice, but try do this, that sort of thing.
I have a question. Mother. Is that Uria, or is this?
Sorry, Neil, say that all and start from I have a question because people are at my door.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine.
She says, I have a question. Mother. Is that Uria? She's also called the Mother. Then there's someone who's fucking around in people's minds. Same deal?
No. Mother Yuri is not the mother of Warforged, of Seekers.
What?
Does she know about Uria, Mother Uria? I mean, does anyone-
that I genuinely cannot say. My gaze only goes so far, but I've seen them work. They are aware of our technology, but only because of barbaric and monstrous means, which I know you know how they implemented such feats from our kind. But as for what she knows, I cannot read her mind if that's what you're asking.
That's fine. But do they, and does she indicate towards Kay? Because Kay is there, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kay, she just indicates towards Kay. Is do they have a? She kind of looks at him. It's like, do they have a part to play in this? Is that something else that's coming down the line that you can tell us about? Is that something you know? How can we help him and his people? How can we fuck it? How do we defeat Laureate? How do we out of nowhere Queen? What? You've given us all of this information, and yeah, that's great. But how do we help Red and Monkey? What do we do now?
They must make their own choices. I know it's confusing. I'm not disagreeing with you on the front that it is not confusing and frustrating. I'm just simply saying your friend Kay here, his kind is it's not exactly smiled upon by us, but that doesn't change the fact that he is a sentient being before us, and what he chooses to do with his future is purely up to him. He knows the stakes, he knows the fight that's coming. If he wishes to be in it, he may. It's his choice. If he wishes to run, stick his head in the sand, wait for it to be over, again, it's his choice. That's the basic right of any sentient life, is you can choose to fight or you can choose to fly. As for Red and Monkey, what they wanted, they thought was here, was not here. What they'll do next, it's purely up to them. They can't stay here. Here won't be here much longer.
Then how do we get out of here?
That is the golden question. And as he says that, you see the eye kind of get smaller and go into its spotlight to look over here. And he gestures off behind you guys. To the left of the staircase, you see a very large, very wide, white kind of limestone, but kind of with a glow, an etherealness, but it's solid. It's just glowing stone. A staircase appears, and there's about maybe 6 steps, and then it kind of just starts to fade, like a gradient, it kind of slowly starts to fade out of existence. And he's there's only so much answers I can give you, but your exit, and it kind of, in my head, it's it closes and opens really quick. It's like he's gesturing to the staircase. Well, it's kind of hard not to miss the staircase. It's fucking glowing, radiant light. He's you'll find more answers there, but you need to gather the rest of your party before you proceed forth. You should at least tell them they have the choice to stay and die or follow that staircase.
Do you have any idea how we destroyed the eye?
There's only one type of individual that can disrupt, destroy, and eradicate that magic. And to us, they're called songweavers. Very potent and proficient, quite frankly, godlike individuals who possess musical abilities beyond anyone's capabilities, and maybe even their own. It's kind of more of a primal energy that resides inside. But if you were to find one and ask her to play really nicely, she might just do it.
I look at Esme.
Esme puts his hand puts her hand under Isbit's chin and then just at Isadora.
I'm thinking of that like gif of Michael Cera, and he's like, "Oh, geez, that's me."
Oh, jeez, that's me.
This is too much responsibility. I need to get out of this.
That's exactly what's going through her fucking head.
John Ralphio. Oh my god.
Well, personally, like Esme's thinking is like, wow, that can't be me. So I'm not taking responsibility. But Isadora is. So I'm gonna let her have a moment. And I'm gonna get the others. And she just kind of like, she looks at Coda and she says, Coda, pick up the black bat cubes. Risbit,
Me.
please look after Isadora. I'll be back shortly.
Where are you going?
I'm going to go and collect the others.
Okay.
We'll be quick, I promise.
Now that we know the truth, what's going to stop the orchestra from just killing us?
What you injected yourself with will let you go in the same way that you could not see them before. Now they can't, like, they can see you, but they can't find you if they scry for you or use their like magic to like locate you. They could up until this point. There was a safe time when speaking with your friend who gave you the like a jar stuff. Like the residual magic from what he did like kind of made you go unanswered. But I believe you had a scuffle with an individual on your way here. Most likely immediately found you because that residual energy had worn off. But now it is kind of like a permanent thing. They can't necessarily find you, but if they see you like blatantly, like as you'd see anyone, they can fight you. It doesn't like make you immune to their magic if they see you, if they try to invade your mind. It's just they can't use their normal means of finding specific people easily and teleporting to them. That sort of thing. One sec.
Wait, is Darren gone?
Yeah,
I think
so.
he said
Yeah,
one
he
sec,
just-
so yeah.
Ah!
One sec, sorry, guys. Yeah, people came in. But yes, sorry. What was the last thing that was said about the magic finding people?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it doesn't make you immune to their magic if they see you and attack you. It's just it makes you immune to them like knowing your every position, which they tend to do with every living person ever, within reason. Like they have the capacity to find them. They're not always watching, but if they, at the drop of a hat, wanted to find Isadora Tanner, like that, they could.
I'm gonna go pick up the cube.
Yeah, it's pretty big. It's not big. It's like a basketball, like that size, but of a cube. It doesn't weigh much. It's like really, really light, but like it's kind of like humming with energy.
I'm gonna ask Polaris, how do I access what's inside?
He's like, my dear boy, you cannot, but
Yes.
my kind can.
Is Doc in the room with us?
Yeah,
No.
Doc is kind of just like.
Oh wait, he can. But Lawrence probably could. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Lawrence isn't here though, right?
Lawrence is upstairs.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Well,
Esme's gonna get Lawrence.
I'm not gonna like put that away. I'm gonna bring that up to Lawrence when he's here. Like I'm gonna
Yeah, that's fair.
save that for him.
Yeah, Kay and Doc have kind of just been like silently observing this whole thing. Like Kay is more just like it's not that he's non-responsive. He's just kind of like the way how heavy his shoulders are hanging. He's just like, ugh, I'm fucking so tired of this. Doc is like upright, like you can see his fists are clenched. He's just like still a big grumpy gut. But Kay is more just like almost defeated. He's just like more raised questions more so than he gave him answers, that kind of thing.
Like, well, I know kind of Doc does, but does Kay know the truth? Like, what I mean is, only the four of us got these injections, so if we try to talk about it with, like, Rook or Red or Monkey, they're not going to hear anything.
Yeah, well,
Or they'll die.
They'll start here. They'll hear
Well,
you. It's just they'll die.
Okay.
Doc is more like, again, he like where he came from in the terms of like how Izzy literally pulled him into existence. That sense made him kind of get around the like thing. He just doesn't possess the memories that have been wiped. He has his own memories, which are from up until the point where he died. Yeah, his legit memories. So he knows them to that point. So he knows like they came from Orion, like that kind of thing. He knows all that stuff. But anything after that, it's just more like, okay, we'll take your word for like it. When the spell was cast, essentially, he wasn't around for it to hit him, that kind of thing. And as for Kay, it's a case of like he knows some, but not all. Like Seekers were kind of like like he'll say it, I suppose, if Izzy asks him. He'll be like, "We were given." The Seekers were kind of given like half the package in a sense, where like some memories they were allowed, like they are aware of what the eye does, but he doesn't know where it is, and he doesn't know anything about like inverted Uria, like the inverted spire or anything. But he is aware that the eye exists, the orchestra exists. Talking about it doesn't seem to like cause him damage. Maybe if you started like unloading him with like, oh man, did you know there's like an inverted city above us, by the way? Like that might send him up. But if you're like, did you know the orchestra have been operating for like, say, a couple of 100 years? He'd be like, Jesus, that's a lot to swallow. But like if you were just to like give him it all at once, then it would probably do damage. But he clearly knows more than the average person. That's right.
Okay, she's gonna turn to Polaris and say, is there anything else you have to tell us? Is there any more information you can give us? Is there anything we can do for you? Because you're dying?
If you could shake his head, he was like the eye moves kind of like in a like shaking his head kind of way. Like he's like, no, I can't give you any more information, but where you're going, you'll get plenty. Don't worry. As for the dying part, it's all part of the plan. But don't worry, I'll join you post haste. Don't worry.
I'm not there, but I'm so angry.
Why is that, Neil?
Yeah, it's a case of like mysterious plan shit.
No, yeah, he's just like when yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry, it's cool. Go ahead.
No, he's like when like, don't worry about me. When we die, we kind of like we go back to where we came from. So like I'll be fine, in that sense.
When you die, the order gets stronger. They're able to make it here more. I mean, you're defending this place, this world.
My song has been very weak. I assure you, my death will be of little consequence to the overall plan now, at least. Maybe in the beginning it was noticeable, but no, it's just the Shale and Orion and Uria doing the legwork now.
Okay. I mean, there's no going back. There's no going back. We said that. We said there's no going back. Okay. How do I do it?
How do you do what? Both in character and out of character. It's like, what?
This Songweaver deal. How do I do it?
I'm sadly what's the word? I lack expertise in such a thing, but where you're going, you'll need someone who does. Don't worry, it'll be explained.
I wish people would stop doing that to me. Can I just say, I wish people would stop telling me do the thing and then not explain the thing.
Isadora, please. I know, I understand and acknowledge your worry, but I know in the past you've been told such a thing and you've had to go days, weeks, months without an exaggerate, without something. When you step up those steps, you will be greeted by someone who can give you answers. It's that quick. It's just
I swear
not here.
God, it is not Vern. Vern
is like the conduit for the Warforged gods that we never knew.
It's just Vern, and then she like tackles everyone off into spaces. No, we're not allowed anymore.
She sees Esme and just like shuts the door, like, no, we're good.
Who else but Vern?
Does Esme back with the dudes?
It's gonna be fucking Bones, and I'm gonna kill him.
Bones is definitely not involved.
Everyone's actually just knocked out against a tree on drugs, and it's just all.
It's the Baron. He's like, it's definitely the Baron. He's just gone mad with all the information he has that he can't tell anyone.
If it's Ball, I'll kill him.
If it's Bal, this campaign ends here because we're gonna kill the person who can give us answers.
So, guys,
Oh, cool.
before you is a glowing staircase that fades the higher you go up it.
Is Esme back with all the friends?
I'm
Fellowship?
gonna say that's what I was gonna say. Esme, do you want to Are you saying anything specific, or is it literally a case of we need to go, we're gonna die if you don't leave, kind of thing?
Esme gives a very short description. It's like, there's a giant god eye. We're going to bypass the giant god eye, go up magic stairs because people are coming to kill us. It's pretty great. Everybody, shut up, keep moving.
Yeah, Red and Monkey are still kind of a bit down about the whole our nest egg literally is destroyed.
It's fine. Just
yeah. Oh no, they're not arguing. It's more just a general attitude.
Esme's just going up for blank face, in the grand scheme of things, nothing matters. Come on, let's go.
No, she's not there yet. She's still at the point of just she still cares quite a bit. She just brings everyone in.
Rook is.
You wouldn't be mad if you didn't care.
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. Rook is kind of grumpy, but okay, yeah, no, lead the way, madam. And Lawrence is oh, gee, Wilson, this is simulation. It's quite fucking intricate, isn't it? Yeah.
I want to slap him.
Yes, Esme.
Esme gives small of her a brief hug. Is come on, I'm not being angry anymore. Let's go. Or no, I'm being different kinds of angry. Let's go.
Aww.
She's just I am conflicted, but okay.
Shut up.
Yeah. Essentially, when the party are talking to the eye, it's behind them, the rest of them spawn in, and everyone's there ready to go, and it's do you ascend the staircase?
One more thing.
Go for it, buddy.
Giant eye, Polaris, one might call you. When we get out of here, when we go through that door, we go up the steps. I'm not asking for super look. There's a mystique being cultivated here, and I don't want to compromise it. But are we going to be out of the Red Forest?
Yes.
God damn it, Polaris! I needed 2 more artifacts for this to be a good journey.
No, the side quest. No.
And Esme just throws herself on the ground. It's I just wanted to give Rook a friend.
Lawrence is just your friend's very dramatic.
Shut the fuck up! Okay, let's go up the stairs. I'm sorry, Rook.
Yeah, no, the NPCs essentially follow Esme and Risbit, and do Izzy and Coda follow suit.
Yeah, thank Polaris for the information, and kind of apologize that we couldn't help him, but yeah.
Esme glares at Coda for his absolutely anti-party behavior.
Coda just looks really confused, but he's kind of used to just being glared at by Esme for reasons he doesn't understand. So yeah, he just keeps saying yeah, thanks, and then he leaves.
Polaris,
Yes.
is there anything you want to hear?
A soft prayer would be nice.
She sings the prayer Morrison taught her.
Oh god, that's so nice.
Yeah.
This good content.
He as much as a gigantic eye can indicate a happy nod along to the music, it does. Kay kind of doesn't say anything. He just kind of nods and follows the rest. He nods towards Polaris and goes with the rest. Doc is still fist clenched, and he kind of goes to and he's I don't know. He's I thought I'd swear everything at you when I saw you, but just fuck, man. And he kind of buries his head in his hands, and he's oh, I'm so tired. And Polaris is just I know. And he just kind of turns on his heel, and he still looks kind of sad and angry. He just storms off. He just doesn't know what to do with himself.
Good night, Polaris. And she walks up the stairs.
You are all as you step up these glowing staircases, and like it fades. And as like from Polaris's point of view, you guys fade. You guys are like bombarded with this bright light. You feel like your like hair is whooshing as if moving, like as you ascend. But as you walk, you're kind of like, I'm walking. No, I'm not walking. I'm moving, but I'm not. Ah! It's a bright light, and you feel like you're moving. And all of a sudden, the bright light fades, and you're in kind of like this kind of stone room. It's kind of a similar like limestone, white marbly, glowing ethereal room. And there is a warforged in white robes who's glowing in a equally ethereal kind of way. And she's like, we've been expecting you. Welcome to the Great Machine. Yeah, guys.
Is there like, what is the fastest way out of here?
It's through the gift shop because they want you to buy something before you go.
I am not buying any machine.
I'm gonna buy a little wind-up machine god toy.
Y'all are the worst. But yes, we'll break there, guys, because I needed to run to the bathroom, but also because it's 10 minutes over break.
Fair.
Cool. Okay. Alright, guys.
Holy shit, bye!
Okay, bye.
Ian.
Neil.
I'm just saying hi.
I'm just saying bye.
Oh, savage.
Bye.
It's gonna be me. So yeah, before we continue with our delightful party, the black bars descend on the screen and we get a cutscene.
Yay!
We see Polaris in the dark by himself once more. And we see the ethereal staircase disappear. We see it fade to black, and it fades up from black. You know, some time has passed. No, probably not a lot. His eyes snaps open. Like, he doesn't address anyone because obviously he's not going to address the friggin' audience because that's not his different. Like, he's alert. The building shakes, quakes. You know, dust falls, chunks hit the ground around him. The eye looks like, as much as it can possibly, like from its angle, it looks skyward, and we see from his point of view, the roof, like the debris, just like it basically turns to sand as if like caught in a sandstorm. It just like, you know, breaks away into like just little itty bits, and like it just like rips out and goes flying away, and like Polaris is just beaten down with like sunbeams, and against the sun, like at the sun at the back beating down, are these shapes. They're flying. There's about 20 or 30, and they all have flowing wavy robes and wide brim metallic hats. There's about 20 or 30, give or take. And they slowly descend, and we can see that it's the orchestra. Like, well, it's the orchestra, but it's clearly like a hit squad or something, whatever you want to call it. As they slowly float directly towards Polaris, we see like Hand of Yuri, kind of like foot soldiers in quite nice gear, like clearly like the good plate, like that sort of thing, the good plate armor. You know, you don't give this to the rookies. Like, you know, they're swarming down kind of like through hatchways that you guys would have went through, like, you know, the traditional way to get down to Polaris, that sort of thing, because they're clearly not floating assholes. Jesus. You know, I'm gonna kill Esme one of these days. But anyway, sorry, continue on. Anyway, these figures descend, and like kind of one main one comes into frame, like, you know, like the obvious leader of the pack. And he's like, "We finally found you, Polaris." And Polaris just simply replies with, like, you know, I think is that the binary rolls into common sort of thing. And he just replies with insect. And like this like figure kind of like goes right, like it's almost standing on the eye, like the glass of the eye. And he's like, "Oh, come now, Polaris. Less of these games. We finally tracked you." And he, like, you know, this figure's looking around, and he's like, "Oh, where are your friends? Where have you hidden them?" And, you know, Polaris is like, "Oh, they're long gone from here." And he's like, "I'll never tell you where." And one of the figures at the back, you see their hands kind of ignite with lightning. And he's like, "Oh, we can make you talk." And you just see like the eye shoots over to look at them. and it kind of like narrows in, and like you just hear like Polaris bark. He's like, your parlor shrieks are not welcome in this hall, and you just see like this individual's magic just shuts off, and the person just plummets, and like you hear like a leg snap because they didn't account for the fact that their magic would be shut off, and they're like yelling, and like the main figure, like the in charge one, is kind of like snaps to the right, looks at the like individual that's fallen and is yelling out in pain and snaps back. And they're like, come now, Polaris, let's make this nice and easy. No one needs to get hurt. And Polaris is just like, oh, you're all so stupid. And he's like he just sighs and he's like, can we skip these games, please? It's like, we've won, we have you. We'll know your secrets soon enough. Like, just give up. You're dying, old man. Let's just this is pathetic. And Polaris, like it's all if an eye could smile, it could. And he's like, oh, with all that foresight, you still can't see an obvious trap. And as he says that, like the sun beating down on all of them, like they've all surrounded Polaris now. You see it kind of like slow, like it dims enough to imply that like something's covering direct sunlight. And like the main individual like looks up, and like we see like essentially a dome of an energy forming, and he's just like, Polaris, what are you doing? And he's like, like moths to a flame. And he's like, Polaris, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, come, where we're going, you'll receive no mercy from me, boy. I'm like, Polaris starts to glow brighter and brighter, and like this individual starts like essentially punching on Polaris's eye socket glass thing, and he's like, oh, you're nothing, you're wretched, you're all bad, you were made to be ruined. As he beating on, like you see like the glass around the eyes starting to crack, and this individual's like, you see blood forming through like the robe, sorry, not the robe. And we get an aerial shot of like the compound, the outpost, as yes, the word used, the house, and the entire thing is covered in this dome. And like you just see like within this energy dome, it's a massive bright light, and like the energy beam shatters, and the energy dome shatters, and like this white bright like colossal explosion just kind of like keeps traveling out, and all of a sudden it's like sucked into the center, and there's just like a tiny dot, and it just like detonates and goes like you see like about half the red forest is just completely destroyed. Like it's not like, oh man, that's going to take a while to go back. Like it just doesn't exist. Like the explosion just goes out, and it just like it vaporizes everything. Like the trees, the land, the anomalies, everything goes. Like half the forest stands, but like a large chunk of it doesn't. And as this like massive white light goes out, like we hear like the dying screams of the orchestra members, and the only thing that accompanies like that is over their screams is just like this massive rattling metallic laugh, and we just hear the final line like, I am Polaris, and like the whole thing just goes like sucks into like a singular dot again, and it just blips and it's gone. Like the facility, everything has been completely annihilated, and like the ocean kind of like rushes into the crater and fills it up almost instantly. Like not like it was planned, it's just like the large body of water pours into like this vacant space, and it goes quiet, and Red Forest, the compound, Polaris, it's all gone. They're no more. They cease to be. Not cease to be in the sense that you can't remember them, it's just like they've literally been vaporized.
This is an ex-forest.
Holy shit.
Well, that's one less asshole to deal with.
And on that note, Esme.
Hey, one question just before we go into the big thing. Actually, wait, no, hold on. Yeah, no, that's not that important right now. Yeah, go ahead. What were you going to say to me?
No, it's just essentially we snap back to like the cutscene is over. You can play your character again. It does that god awful track into the back of your character's head.
Oh yeah.
Terrible. But yes, you guys are in a kind of a white marble room. It's very like kind of glowing. Like it's like you kind of want to squint, and then you're like, oh, my eyes have adjusted, but holy fuck, the white balance in this room, guys. Everything is glowing and ethereal. But the Warforged person before you is it kind of like has their hands together in a very like calming, like, you know, just like, hello. And there's like a window behind her, and you can see kind of like an ocean. It seems to be an ocean. I mean, it's blue. And it's acting like water. It's like crashing. It's like we've been expecting you. Welcome, welcome. I hope everyone wasn't harmed on your journey.
Is this heaven?
If you believe in the Warforged afterlife, then yes.
Oh. Are we Warforged dead?
Oh no, you were just simply brought here by the last of Polaris' energy.
I just
Unconventional method. Oh,
I just don't get if he has the power to send us to heaven, but he doesn't have the power to do anything else. Like, what the fuck was he doing? He was asleep. Like,
she raises a hand and she's like, oh there, Nelly.
It's Nilo, not Nelly.
She's like, I understand you're upset. There is a... Oh boy, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about this. It's like not my job. I just welcome people.
Tell me right the fuck now.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I know you're just doing your job, but I'm sick of people telling me they can't tell me shit, okay?
She's a song weaver. I don't know what that means, but apparently it's impressive.
Why? That's part of my problem!
I understand. Everyone's very tightly wound.
Oh my god,
Okay.
those people at customer service.
That's
It's like,
You
I'm-
are!
It's like, I'm not going to be...
in retail. We are
She's like, I'm not going to be that bitch, but you are. You are that bitch. So hold on. She like scurries over to like basically a pedestal with it's just a giant button, and she just hits it. And she's like, we're speeding this up.
That's security. She's called security.
The whole room kind of like moves, and you're kind of like, whoa. And you see like the ocean behind you is kind of like, oh, you're moving over. And she's like, okay, so I can answer some questions, but I don't want to lose my job, so y'all can just suck it. So let me at it. I'm literally in the afterlife, people. I don't have to listen to this, so give me the questions and I'll tell you what I can and can't say.
First of all, do you have a name?
Linda.
Thank you, Linda. Oh my god, it's lynda.com. Hi, Linda. We just wanted to start off on that good standing. Yeah, Isadora, you can ask the next question.
Oh, great, sure. Where are we going? Where are you taking us?
We're going to the one of the many cities that populate the Great Engine's body. Here in the Great Vacuum of the Void, and as she says that, she gestures to the window and it rotates, and you guys can see, you can see stars and such in the distance. But as the like window kind of rotates back around, you guys can see that you guys are traveling towards some sort of like ethereal white city, that sort of thing. Kind of like it looks like from a distance, like it's kind of small at the minute, but you guys are approaching it pretty friggin' fast. It seems to be made out of the white kind of glowy stone that you guys are currently like surrounded by.
Okay, next question. Anyone?
Lawrence is just rubbing the stone. He's like, oh geez, they really put a lot of effort in this whole like outside thing. Eh?
I feel like I
Doc
keep
is just-
opening my mouth to talk, and then like Coda just goes quiet. Like he just keeps kind of almost, and then just like, no, he can't process this. He's just very quiet.
Yeah, like everyone else is kind of just like, so did we die? We didn't. We died. And Linda's just like, nope, not dead. And Rook is like, we died. And Monkey's like, we died. And she's like, no, you're not dead. And it's just like kind of like a loop. And like Doc is kind of just like wide-eyed, like, I should have stayed dead. Fucking should have stayed dead.
So
why are we here?
Yes, good question, Isadora. Fine question.
Say that again, sorry guys, you both spoke at the same time, so I didn't hear you.
Why are we here?
Okay, well, Mr. Polaris needs to get you out, and he did. He used the last of his energy against. He's well. If he was alive, we'd scope. But his last act to destroy those that would do you harm kind of is like taboo where we come from. And in other words, he like. She's like, how do I explain? The spark inside us, he detonated his, so he can't come home because there is no more Polaris, essentially. So he did that to ensure that no one would follow you here. As for like, how could he do that? He was asleep, and she's like perfectly mimics like Esme's voice. and like it's almost like her face almost warps into Esme's, and she's like, "Well, that'll be explained by the Great Engine themselves." So, because again, not losing my job, I like it here. Hours are fine. I don't do a lot. It's great. But there's a lot to. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so, Polaris spent the last of his life spark to send us here.
Yes.
Wiggly hand. I literally wiggly handing as it.
It's a case of his energy he used to get you here. In doing so, that's quite a big no-no. We're not allowed to do that. Not that you guys can't be here. There's nothing against that. Well, it depends on who you ask. No, it's a case of screw it, fuck it. Who cares? I'm probably not gonna get fired. Basically, that level of magic is forbidden because your enemy, the Order, can use it to essentially hijack it to get to your realm easier. When essentially, just think of magic as like knocking on a door. Like most spells, insignificant. Like you wouldn't even hear the knock. Wouldn't not like more and more like potent and powerful wizards, you'd hear it faintly. But like a celestial individual like him sending like whatever number of people NPCs there are, my brain's not working at the minute for numbers, but that amount of people to not let alone a plane of existence, but like this place, like an afterlife that is in itself a plane of existence, but it's kind of a slightly different plane of, you know what I mean? That's a lot of magic. That's you're kicking in the door. You're like fire. You're axing in that door, and all they have to do is go, "Oh, there's the door," because they're knocking on it. Open it, and they get into your world. So that's why it's kind of forbidden. That's why the gods haven't been allowed to do anything, because if they do, they pretty much sign your guys' death warrants. Okay.
Esme asks, like, even Baal?
I don't speak ill of our friends, but he's a dick.
But fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy, man. He said he'd call me. No, she's like, yeah, no. Again, that'll be explained. We have quite some stuff to do, and she like pulls out a clipboard, and she's like, okay, so you guys arrived.
Okay, just before you pull out the clipboard.
Geez, okay, yeah, we're back to the intro.
So Linda, but I actually didn't finish my question. You just
yeah, but I stopped listening. Continue.
Okay, so we were at the point of activating that magic is a no-no. Yeah.
Yes. Big magic.
So if someone did that, what would happen? Like usually, what would happen?
Usually, well, it's a case of, well, it's not really happened on our end, but outside it, it's a case of the Order would use it to get onto your plane quicker. Like, again, it's.
Oh, I get it, but but I mean, you were saying that as like. You were saying that like you'd scold him usually for having done stuff like that. It's like that's a thing. You would tell him off.
Well, yeah, like he'd be addressed by the Great Engine, like the
okay, cool. So the Great Engine is like your manager.
Her eyes were
okay, Linda, like, I don't think you're getting it right. Linda, I want to speak to your manager.
Oh my god!
Because this is going one way. I have a question. If there is someone who is more powerful than a god, why aren't they dealing with the Order instead of us? And she just starts screaming upwards. Like I just imagine it's going directly to the Death Star that I believe we are. She's just furious. She's like, what kind of backwards ass machine god can't even fucking deal with the Order, but they have time to put us in a boat going through the sea with you, Linda. Why do you have to deal with this? Why do I have to deal with this? Izzy's a song weaver. She doesn't know what that is. Hey is an emotional wreck. We have kids here. Linda, you're gonna get us to your manager. You're gonna get us.
She's like, well, okay. So it's kind of rude. It's kind of personal. It's like Alfred. Of all my years of ferrying souls to this, no, it's just yell at Linda. Oh, she's trying to be helpful. She's She's like, fine.
Sorry,
you know
Linda, it's not really helpful to say that we could scold the god who also could not help us when we asked the correct question of why is no one helping us? But I get it.
No, I get it. You keep wanting those answers, and it's almost like I have to write it in big writing that you're going to the literal office of the person who's going to get. It's just I'm just getting you there. It's not my job. Stop yelling at me. Fuck off, lady. Jeez. Fucking hell.
Esme. Stop.
Fine.
See her like gesturing to, like she's like messing with the clipboard, and she's like, well, we can move that meeting up to the first away before we have any more tantrums. And she just basically turns around and like looks out the window, and she's like, hey, fuck it, you guys ain't getting a tour of the like literal afterlife of the mechanical race. It's grand.
I hug Linda's leg and I apologize for my teammates.
I will send you screaming to hell if you touch me again.
Well, you're not a lovely lady anymore.
I am the gatekeeper.
Just trying to be friendly, alright?
I love that sentence.
So do I, Darren.
And it's screenshot and going on Twitter.
Who broke Amy? Was it Neil or me? Because I don't know.
I think this whole...
What? I can hear you through your like meltdown, Amy. Are you okay?
She says the whole thing. So I think it's probably the imagery of Esme challenging Coda to a fight, and me trying to hug
in an
robot
elevator
lady
with
in the
Rosvita
next
hugging this
person.
robot lady's leg. Oh,
I'm fine. I'm fine.
There we go. Now it's on the internet.
Thank you.
Anyway. You see like Linda fondling with the button, and it's almost like she's like, go faster, and you can see this thing slowly speeding up, like just
How many people are here?
it's just you guys.
There's like 13 people crammed into this small space elevator. It's fine.
No, like I'm asking Linda, like.
Oh, I
how
thought you were
many
asking out of
souls are here?
character.
Well, a lot. It's like just the afterlife. Like I don't mean that in like a really condescending way. It's just like there's a lot of individuals here, and like this is just this is the main city. And there's thousands of them that reside all around. Great Machine. Just like gestures to be like a sphere. And she's like, yeah, no, it's oh gosh, phone, chillax there. Yeah. She's like, there's a lot. It's kind of unheard of to have non-Warforged here, but they've really been brought up, and if it's allowed, and again, I'm just following orders, so yeah. And she's like, oh look, we're here. She just kicks the console, and it's just like, Kadoosh. And she's like, well, and she looks at the clipboard, and she's like, oh geez. Okay, so we're just waiting on some people to arrive in the conference room, because this was meant to happen later, but sure, we'll just move it off for certain people. So if you guys can just wait here, just to like basically, it's like I said, waiting room, like just really long, nice couches. Again, like everything is made out of just like marbly stone. It's kind of really glowy. She's like, oh yeah, no, it's just rest here. There's some food. It will like revitalize you. You feel alive. She's like, it's a joke we tell because they're dead. So yeah, have some of that, and I'll return momentarily.
So I have a question for you guys.
Yes,
Yeah.
Rosebud.
Do you reckon, like, seeing as she's like dead, if we kill her again, does she just disappear forever?
I don't want to know.
Yeah,
I honestly don't want to know.
I like your thinking. I'm not going to lie to you. It's an interesting thought process. However, while I am angry at the gods, I do think, like, starting a war in heaven probably won't end well. However, if you'll permit me, we'll both sit down and I'm going to comb your hair. I need to calm down.
Rizbit sits down and takes off his helmet.
Are we
It's
dead?
like combs Rizbit's hair.
Did
No,
we die?
I pinch Coda. We're not dead. You feel that? We're not dead.
As he looks at Isadora next time slug him in the face. Just, he's not going to learn either way.
Kay is like, would you like to be dead? And gestures to his sword.
You have got you've offered that too many times. Okay? I've heard you offer that too many times.
I'm good at what I do.
You back off.
No.
You leave him alone. He's a good boy. He tries his best. I'm angry too.
And Doc is just like,
Yeah, actually,
"Boy."
hey Doc, how are you doing?
I mean, fuck.
Yeah, rice.
Lawrence just like looks at you two with like the most deadpan expression. He's like, you guys are falling for this. Fucking suckers.
Okay, Lawrence, I will punch. Don't test me.
He's just
It
like,
has
"Look at you."
been a day.
We're in heaven.
A heaven.
Shut up,
We're going to
Coda.
meet a god.
Yeah, I'm freaking out too. Okay, do you know what? Do you know what? Fuck it, we can't do this. We can't do this like this. I cast common mode. On everybody.
Rizbit literally doesn't change.
Yeah,
you're
Rizbit was fine.
Esme's been feeling a lot better since she started combing Rizbit.
It's very therapeutic. Yeah, no,
Yeah, like-
Izzy casting cam motions is just the equivalent of we all just sit down and start combing Rizbit's hair for a while and we feel better.
Oh boy. This is happening. I talked to a god. It's fine. This is fine.
I mean, we have technically talked to gods before, so really it's not.
Like you hear like a tapping of a nose. It's like technically you spoke to a demigod, but let's go because we were going to ease everyone into this because talking to a literal god is intense. But sure, why do protocol? And like Linda like kind of like come on up and like is tapping her nose boards and like get the fuck. So when we go in, and she like stops outside this massive towering door, she's like, when we go in, you can address the holiness as whatever you like, your grace will do, or whatever pronoun you wish. There are some extras in there. Again, we were going to drip feed this because it was a case of like, it can be a lot overwhelming to like mortals such as yourselves. But hey, let's just put it all in one big bowl. And she pushes the big door open.
Just because we yelled at you?
Oh no, definitely no. This was definitely not because you guys were absolute And essentially, she's just like, yeah, whatever. And like pushes open these doors, and like you see a massive walkway that leads to like clearly like some vast chamber, but like you see a massive wide shot of the city essentially from this place because you're essentially walking out of a hub area, that kind of thing. And it's like the overall shape is like a triangle. Like it's a case of like the base that you guys are walking towards is kind of like the widest point, and it's like all these towering buildings like eventually kind of like get taller and taller and condense into the middle. It's kind of like an overall shape of a triangle, that sort of thing. But like it's made from that like ethereal kind of like a white marble stone, but like you can clearly see like gigantic cogs and like smoke, like it kind of like white smoke coming out of buildings, but it's all made out of this like heavenly stone sort of thing. And it's like it looks like a giant machine, and there's like these colossal pipes, kind of like we know there's like a church organ, kind of like intricate all throughout the city. They all kind of like rest up like the very tip of this pyramid is like all these church organ style horns, like coming up to like one point where they all would like they're all pointing out in several directions in like a circular motion, that kind of thing. What? But yeah, like she's like walking across this massive thing, and there's like an ocean beneath you guys, and like when you peer over the side, you can see what looks like mechanical, ethereal like whales and such. They're all down there, like it's kind of like replicants of like, or replications of what like you'd see like that we'd see in like deep vast oceans, that sort of thing. But yeah, she's kind of like, come on, hurry, and like, it takes you like about 3 minutes to walk, and she's like beelining, she's way ahead of you guys, and that sort of thing. And she's like, yeah, right, cool. So, yeah, and like she stops in front of these massive doors, and she's like, right, this room's been refurbished as the conference room to get you guys the answers you seek so quickly. We have the conference, then we'll take your measurements for the chariots, and then you guys can rest, and in the morning we'll get you back down to earth. How's that sound?
Linda,
Sure.
I'm going to be straight with you. We understood literally none of those words. But I'm going to
No, I understand those the words like individual.
And she's like, okay, so you're going to go in there, you're going to talk to about, hold on, 3 gods, technically. Well, 2 gods and a messenger. Inside, it's going to be nice. It's going to be a heavenly chat. Not a joke we tell everyone who's died. After that, we'll take your measurements, because like you guys can't stay here as much as you. Well, some of you can if you choose. And she kind of like gestures towards Lawrence, that sort of thing. But the rest of you guys got a job to do. No, yeah, cool. We need to get you back to where you came from. But as I've said previously, that would have been explained in the whole 3 seconds when you walked through those doors. Sending you back is really risky, so we have to send you back the old-fashioned way, which is basically walking there. And sleeping and resting is self-explanatory. You sleep, you rest, you feel revitalized. We patch up your armor, and she gestures to Esme with like the back of it and kind of like that. So it's good as new. We give you some food and send you on your way with a nice pat on the butt. Cool, great. Glad you all understood that. And she just pushes the doors open.
Fair.
Okay.
As the doors swing open, like it's a colossal, like big. In this gargantuan, you can't see the ceiling. It's just like white space up above you. As you guys enter, there's like this really small conference table in the middle of it, like again made out of the stone. At the head of the table, you are really big and kind of wide-shouldered, but also in a ethereal kind of robe. Like a warforged individual, kind of like really flamboyant. Like it looks like chains and nuts for hair, like tied back, and they're like clearly in conversation with a dwarven woman. It looks like that's glowing like crimson, dark red. Kind of that's her ethereal glow kind of thing, is a reddish color, and like she's kind of chuckling, and the person that the Warforged individual is talking to and the red dwarf woman is laughing, like kind of like listening to the tale, is a familiar in a sense face, is a golden woman is sitting on the table, like sitting next to the table, kind of leaning forward, clearly in the middle of some story. And you know her as a Polaris messenger.
As they hears Kill Bill siren. It's just that temptation to run up across the table and just start fighting with it. I'm okay with like Esme getting killed in heaven, but like it's just that idea. It's like,
but yeah, you guys are like, Linda's pushing you in. She's like, okay, let's go. Like, get. And she's like, be nice. And she closes the door behind you, and you hear kind of like a load of machine noises behind the door, and like
You locked the thing.
No, more like something's retracting, almost like the platform you guys walked past is now like retracting away, kind of thing. But yeah, as you guys are just kind of all awkwardly standing there, and like the red, she's red.
Oh god.
please tell me that was the joke.
No, man, I legitimately just went with my gut. I was like, what would Mars look like? And
That is gas, if that's true.
That's amazing.
oh yeah, no, like joke. It's all from the hip. Anyway, yes. So when you guys are awkwardly standing there, like again, Doc is just like kind of. He's been scratching his nose for a long time, but you know, he's definitely just covering his like a gape now, like that kind of thing. And like is basically the messenger looks over and sees you guys, and like gestures and like yeah, like is kind of like still telling her story, and she's like yeah, come over. So do you guys come over?
Yeah, but before Esme leaves, Esme just into the ring is like, guys, if things had gone different, Bal would be here right now. Imagine how fun that would be.
You
Tell him
hear,
to just take his ring off.
you hear in the ring the messenger's voice, and she's like, nobody likes Bal.
I like Bal, and she says that really loud. He's a misunderstood young man.
It's like, you like balls? Okay. Is that the first thing you're going to say to a god? Is you like balls? Okay.
Esme just sits right beside the messenger. Is like, I'm going to fight you.
And she's like, honey, at the door, will you think you could take me?
I hate you so much. Hi guys, how's the food here? Is it good? Should we get the fish or the chicken?
As you guys take your seats, Risbeth, you get a friendly nod from the red dwarf, and she's like, oh, Risbeth.
I nod back and I'm like, okay, we'll talk later.
She's like, yes, that was the plan, but yeah, here we are.
I like you.
And that's cool.
Aww.
We're gonna digest this one stick at a time. And like the messenger like swivels on her chair basically, and she's like, yeah, so how come you wanted to meet us so quick, Esme? Like, what is your deal? What is your damage? Who hurt you?
Hey, so
Please don't make her answer those questions.
no, I can answer this. This is fine, guys. This is fine. Okay. Esme points is like Risbeth, Coda, me, Esme, and Isadora, and then she points us like Rook, Monkey, Red, Lawrence, the other Warforged. I can't think of his name.
Doc Wilson.
Kay, well, Doc and Wilson, yeah. Kay, and then Red and Monkey. Did I say Red and Monkey? It's like, oh, and Oliver. So this is everyone. We were sent here by a dying Warforged demigod because we were told there'd be answers. And if you're so all-powerful, shouldn't you know what our questions already are, messenger lady? And Esme's neck is going 90 because she's head shaking and she is... Darren, I'm not going to lie to you, right? Her neck seems longer. It's almost like the messenger's hand would fit perfectly around her. Just throw her through the floor.
She's like, it's okay, Esme, calm down. We know. We know.
Esme's like, I am calm.
I've like started bowing, and I don't know when is the appropriate time to stop bowing. So he's just bowing, like he just doesn't know what to do. He's just bowing.
In Infernal, the Warforged at the top of the table is just like, sit down. It's okay. Like, relax.
I mean, he definitely doesn't relax, but he'll sit down.
I mean, that's the start.
Have you ever seen him relax? Like, no.
The Warforged leans forward and they're like, so, would you like us to start, or would you like to ask questions and we just give you information that way? How do you want to do this?
Well, currently where we're at, we were told that there's no going back now. So the big bad wolf is at the door and we have to go and blow his house down. I don't know, this idiom's getting away from me. So you could just, we know what we know. Why don't you just tell us a bit more and we can ask questions as we go.
Okay.
We'll be sure to raise our hands. Miss
Nilo, and like the machine god gestures towards Esme. It's like you've had a lot of issues with the fact that we have not intervened and, you know, lended a more firm helping hand, correct?
Just end it with she has a lot of issues.
Both are right. It's like Esme is just more. Esme says it's like it's more that there seems to be people who are practically putting themselves forward to offer assistance at some point, like the Shroud, and dare I say, Baal, the god of murder. And I would think that other people would also have vested interests in, the world not ending and having some input into that. So clarify for me, please. I will be sure not to be overly sassy.
Yeah, no, he nods. He's like, no, yeah, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so the short answer is, if we were to directly intervene, we'd be using magic similar to what Polaris used to get you here. It's never 100% assured if the order would, say, piggyback the magic to get to you guys quicker, or like essentially, because if more of them get on the ground, they can instigate cults, which again can generate power, like literal magic power, which can speed up their process of getting like into your world, that kind of thing. But it's more a case of the risk is just not worth it, in a sense that we can only do like murmurs, like we can only kind of whisper magic at you guys, and our messenger here, and gestures to messenger as like with the rod, like it can benefit you, and we'll discuss that later as well, that specific item. I mean, well, messenger will, that's her presentation. But yes, we directly can't influence or lend a hand without endangering not just you but everyone. And the likes of Baal and the Shroud, it's like they don't care for life, they feed off death. So them just throwing their power around, just take my sword, just kill your friends, who cares, that doesn't affect them, because no matter what, they win. You say no, they find someone else, then that someone else does something stupid, it opens again, it snowballs, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you all pay and they win. No matter what happens in that scenario, they come out on top. So that's why they're so, it's the easy route in a sense. It's just like, quick power, but you're going to pay for it, and you will, no matter what Paul says, no matter what the Shroud can play any neutral game she wants. She is at the heart of it evil. Well, depending on how you look at it, I view her as evil anyway. But again, that's another argument for another day. But that's why we can't directly just gift you boons when you want it. We can't just throw a hand in like, oh God, why did you let this happen? It's like, we don't want things to happen, but if we intervene directly, we endanger everybody, and that's all we want. The Order are as old as us, within reason, give or take. They have often operated in a very condensed scale, like non-globally, but this is pretty intense at the point where their leader Ludwig, well, if you want to call it a leader, he wiggles his hand. that individual is kind of drawing it out, getting very malicious, clearly has a taste for this thing, and it's very much hate that's fueling him, which again, that's his business, but it in turn affects us. We don't want this to happen, the pain, suffering. That's why we've been trying our best to help as much we can. We can't give direct help, we can't at times give coherent help, but we're trying, because our hands are in a sense tied, and we wish that wasn't the case. It genuinely eats, we see everything you do, it eats us up when you guys are in a bad spot at the end of your rope, and we could help, but if we run, the risk is so high for causing just gargantuan debts that it's just we can't risk it. We just can't, and it's not ideal. I frankly don't care if you hate us because of it. That doesn't matter, but that's the reality of the situation, and we've tried our best. We've sent artifacts, well, within reason, to you, and he gestures to Mars, and he gestures to Messenger, and they've been doing well, some more than others, and that's not a competition thing or just a hint, and it's just some of them have just been used more, and that's just how it goes, which is fine. But again, that's why I know it's, and us telling you this before you ran the Crucible, revealing such information, the Order, how it all works, would just have caused your death, and which in turn was why we couldn't explain anything. We couldn't just simply send messenger to tell you, hand you a piece of paper that says "lol," "lol," read this. That's what's up, because we would endanger you, and you're no good to anyone dead. Yourself, you're the world, but most importantly yourself. So that's why I apologize for the hardship it's caused you, but that's the reality of the situation, Esme.
I will. I would like the floor. I have something to say.
You have it.
She's just like, I don't hate you. I knew there was a reason. I just hate that there is a reason, because, my God, this is an awful lot now to be putting on. Now, not that you've put it on us, but there's just Risbeth, pay attention, I'm talking. It's just so much. There's just so many things happening. When we left, Uria the first time, my whole thing was, I'm going to get probably criminals into every town outside of Uria. Now I'm in heaven, and it seems like I didn't have enough ambition before, and I feel silly. But equally, I understand, and I apologize for seeming ungrateful up to this point. But my God, do I hate the Order and all of this. But we'll also willingly go forward with this because they can't turn back now, because we'd probably all die anyway. But it's going to be fun, I think.
Fair. Does anyone have any other questions? I'm at a loss for words. I don't know which avenues to take, so please direct me.
Isidore is the song weaver. What's that mean?
He's like, thank you, Esme.
I just got to direct the conversation from this point. Okay, this is fine.
1 second, I just realized who I want to play. Yes, if we ever had to cast people to play certain characters, I want Timothy Dalton to be the Warforged God, just because.
Oh, that's perfect.
Anyway, he's just like, Anyway, he's like, yes, okay, Songweavers, very good. Well, as you know, we're all my children are born from stars, shooting stars. Songweavers are just slightly more potent. Stardust would be putting it lightly. They're in the sense there's a shooting star, they're more a shooting cosmos, and the sense that they have the potential to create worlds at a whim, sort of. He looks at Izzy and he's like, I don't want to overwhelm you. I know this can be a pretty big concept, and again, I might not to freak you out or to upset you, but
Your Grace, I can assure you it's far, far too late for any of that. But please, continue.
I just like to think Izzy's like, no, continue, but her hands are trembling and her hair's all out. She's like, keep going. She has a wine glass and it's just going everywhere. It's like, oh jeez. It's like, they're unique. They're not common, as you'd imagine. And for lack of a better way of putting it, Miss Tanner, you were the last one on the material plane. I know that's a lot. It's a heavy burden, and you have the capability to destroy the eye. While your friends can certainly battle alongside you, can battle yourself now, obviously. To forge a path to your destination, to the one to deliver the final blow is a Songweaver, and I'm sorry, it's on your shoulders. I am in no way saying you have to do this.
Come on, you're not saying that.
I'm not. You have the potential to do it. You don't have to. You are. Is your what's the word? Capability, right? Yeah, you can reject this. You can go about your life as best you can with the knowledge you have, and that's that.
No,
I am no way saying you must do this.
Can't. I can't walk away from this. How could anyone possibly walk away from this?
Plenty could if they weren't good people. They didn't
Stop,
care.
stop. This isn't about good or decent. This is... We said there was no going back from this, and there's no going back from this. So please don't patronize me and say I have a choice in the matter. Just tell me how to do it.
He looks genuinely upset at that. He's just like, right. He's like, I will assist you on this mission that you so are boldly locked into, and we need to get it out of the archives. It'll take some time. The locks are very complex and over the top. I don't know why I made them like that, but I was going through a rough patch. Everything had to be complicated, like me, you know. Literally cuts away to him with like an emo fringe. But he's like, it'll be ready for you in the morning before anything of importance happens, so to speak. But yes, there's a tool that will allow you to hit the right note.
Okay.
So, moving on. I'm assuming the dwarf woman is the dwarf is a woman, yes?
Yep.
Madam, I'm assuming you're the person who's been helping Risbit. Can you tell us what Risbit's deal is?
She's like, yes, thank you. Well,
Yeah,
I'm Mars.
I would like to know what my deal is. Thanks, Mars.
Yeah, okay. So I'm Mars. Hello. Well, I'm an avatar of Mars in the same sense that they are an avatar of the Holy Machine, and Messenger's just messenger, and Messenger's kind of like, hey, I'm Messenger. She's more like a literal messenger, like she's her own person kind of thing.
Yeah.
But Mars. So the weapon you wield it's one of my many weapons. There's a sword, a bow. Like most gods have the standard array of things for their champions. I wanted in on this. I want to help. Again, the forbidden prime directive helping magic is forbidden, but we can sometimes, if we use most of our magic to hide. Basically, if we use the same blast of magic to hide something small, we can get bits through like that. So I managed to get the sword to you. That sort of, I got the sword to your area, and if the sword chose you, if you chose the sword, that's purely up to whatever you want to believe. But here you are with the sword. That's all that matters. And I've been trying my best to guide you, to help restore some balance, some sort of energy that'll boost your now mission. She kind of looks around the room, kind of thing. Hence why I wanted you to clean up that tower, or not that tower, sorry, that area. Yeah, the island. Yes, the facility of old worship to myself, and nods to the other two. Which again, no rush. Yeah. I know it's a lot. I know it's been a long week, this week in particular, which is fair. But it's just I've been trying to help as best I can. I'm not as old and powerful as really obnoxiously gesturing towards the machine god. It's but I'm trying my best. I'm new to this whole avatar thing. I only had once previously, and that individual went full blown avatar and had the whole shebang and kind of went bossy. But that's again a story for another day. But I'm just trying to help. Again, if you chose the sword chose you, or I chose you, that sort of thing. It doesn't matter. You are wielding it well, and I want to help you as much as I can. Speaking to us through our artifacts doesn't invoke this kind of magic that they can use against you, kind of thing. It's just prayer. Prayer can be powerful in itself, but in this sense, asking for guidance won't backfire. Well, it hasn't backfired, not that we know of. They're all like, yeah, no, it's, as far as we know, it's fine. So please, like, use the sword for like what you need to use it for, but just know that like you can contact me specifically through the sword at any time, like should you want to, that sort of thing. Within reason, obviously. Like I have to respond, but like it's essentially like a direct link to us.
Mars.
Esme?
Does Risbeth have a cool title?
Avatar of Mars?
That's pretty good. Pretty cool title.
Oh no, Ian's computer crashed again while he was getting his own personal quest thing.
Oh god.
Ian, why? Will we continue or will we wait?
I'll probably give. Yeah, no, I'll see what he says. But like, does anyone else have any questions?
Esme looks under the table and then looks up again. It's like, which one of you drew the short straw and got Coda?
Like, Messenger's like, wow, that's fucking rude.
Esme like punches Coda in the arm and she's like, oh, we're friends, but she's punching too hard.
He's like, Coda is his own man. He's got a little bit of everybody in him, in the sense that I know that sounds like an absolute awful cop out, and he's like, I apologize, but like, and Coda, your heart clearly belongs to the Forge, and I think if you want, it was Ian. I thought it was me. I was like, motherfucker. If you wish, your best asset is your ability in the Forge, and while like my disciples, and this is Machine God speaking, it's like worship the Forge in a slightly different way than say you operate in it. Know that I do, in a sense, look over you to some degree. It's like you are very much your own man in that regard. That like, while Pelor sent the rod to like Esme or Esme found it, whichever you wanted. Again, it's all up to whatever you want to read into it. That sort of thing. Like you are very much capable of quite literally forging your own like destiny. Do you get me?
Yes, thank you. I don't have any stake at this table, but thank you.
Oh, no. You're not getting out of it that.
No, I mean,
together.
I have a stake in, the entire saving the world thing. Yes, I'm very much on board with that, but, the god, I mean, I had my chance of being a holy man, and
I'm back, sorry.
blew it.
It's okay. I was like, look at you. Like everyone's made mistakes. No one's perfect. Like Kabiri's influence is dwindling. In a sense, he's like his gaze is going other places, and no doubt you've met his right-hand man.
We've met.
Yes. So, yeah, you're your own man, Coda. If you wish to bend the knee to a god, they'll listen. Like, you don't need to be pulled up into the afterlife, sit at a table surrounded by celestial beings to be like, oh, I'm officially like. But they listen. If you truly want to be like, or ask one of them to be in your corner, like literally ask, and they'll, within reason, they'll answer, unless they're preoccupied, which is kind of rare these days. They're literally gods. But yeah, no, it's like if like it can often seem like destiny is thrust upon when he looks at Izzy and he's like, and I know you're definitely gonna swear at me for this, and he's like, but sometimes you can just ask and it'll be there. It's very much like the illusion of destiny is there, but if you go looking for what you want, chances are you'll find it. So don't say like you're not a holy man because there's not some avatar sitting here being like, OMG, I love Coda. Like if you truly want one in your corner, there will be one. You just have to ask, but you're more than capable of forging your own destiny without anything on your, like, anyone in your corner. Not to say that anyone else at this table is like should feel belittled or like feel like they're weaker or smaller because they can't forge their own destiny, air quotes. It's just it's not everything is so like black or white or like comparable. That's just the nature of life.
I appreciate that very much, but I got myself into this, and I'll write my own way out.
And yeah, he nods and he's like, no, that's very admirable, and I respect that, and I think you will. I genuinely think you will get yourself out. Anyone else? Actually, yeah, as Esme sinks back into her chair, like the chair directly to her right swivels around, and like Messenger like is like up in Esme's face, and she's like, "Right, start fucking talking, Miss Whingy Bag. Come on."
I thought maybe you'd want to talk to Kay next, but okay.
Oh no! I have like see this, and like she basically just like with flick of her hand, like the rod is in her hand. It's like I hear everything. Oh my god,
Oh boy.
Oh, I know. You need to work on your form, honey. And she just throws, but she's like, listen here. It's like, I hear everything. So I didn't, run around as best I can, doing my job, and just getting a literal earful of just constant. So start talking. Just right now. Come on.
Thank you for helping Dave when he was sick.
What was that?
Thank you for helping Dave when he was sick.
She's just like,
that was part one. Yeah.
Oh my god!
It's like stop. He says, "Look, I think at the time when other apparently
you start backing out of this shit.
I think at the time when other less responsible gods were offering me other options, it became harder and harder to resist temptation. Also, side note, Ball is really, really cute. I think he's misunderstood, but maybe I'm wrong. Equally, I don't know. But like,
Esme, I'm going to kill him.
Why? He just seems really misunderstood.
You know what? Hold on. I'm going to be the bigger one. We're just gonna walk fast. We're just gonna drop that.
Look,
drop that aside.
I'm okay with whatever happens at the end of the day because that's probably what needs to happen. But like, I thought he seemed okay, just a bit too murderous in my book. Asking me to kill my friends and all that was great. Anyway, yeah, so she starts to sink lower. She's like, what can I do to help you, Messenger? And she's not looking at Messenger, she's looking like straight across the table, not making eye contact, just sinking lower.
Messenger leans in and she's like, the urge to say lick my boot is real.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I probably wouldn't do it, and then I get thrown through a wall. But it's good. It probably deserved to be happening.
And she's like, just know that we've been trying to help. There are some modifications coming to the rod, so I'll be taking it. And again, with a flick of wrist,
Being updated. It's got a new iOS.
We're putting some new firmware in it. It's called block all outgoing messages. But again, it takes time. Almost like, this talk was meant to happen later on in the day when we had done all this, but someone was a little temper tantrum up. So
Hey,
no.
Hey, hold on. I was going to say.
No, you get to sit down and be quiet now. That's what's going to happen here. So yeah, I'm the messenger, as title, name kind of indicates. Anything you want me to pass on to His Holiness? Just any specific whinging, like, oh my god, Pellery never had, what is this? Do something. I'm going to go with which one of those specifically do you want me to walk up to the god of light and time and say, Esme Nilo, the Eladrin from Uria, lives down Capel Street, her, just wasn't a fan. Just wasn't a fan. Just had a big old mole. Which one specifically do you want me to tell him to his face?
I think there's an old phrase, something to the effect of, the gods never give us more than we can manage, but Pelor seems to be testing me quite a bit this weather.
God, does he? Bless.
There's a fucking lich. Like, there's a lich running around, and she isn't even the biggest problem.
You know what, Esme?
No. You understand how much of a concern that is.
Yeah, it's almost like you were gifted an item that can, bypass most of a lich's magic to,
I
seal her
didn't
face.
know what it could do. I'm a rogue.
It's almost like
I'm a rapscallion. I'm a swashbuckler. I don't know magic. I can just
you've been flinging discs willy nilly, and all of a sudden I don't know what it does. I'm confused. No, literally, a cleric handed it to you and was like, "Shit's magic."
No, bitch. I found that in the ruins of a cleric temple, so I did not get handed nothing. I went and I stole it from their dead bodies, actually.
It was confirmed by people that believe in my lord that it was a potent magical item of His Holiness. You know what? They're doing grand. They're currently being strangled to death, but they're fine. Not the concern at the moment. It was literally confirmed by two holy individuals that this thing was full of holy juice. And you're going to look me in the eye, not lick my boot, and tell me you did.
That's what he says.
Like, I never said that, she's like, just like leans back, and you see like this high heel, just a boot just slowly comes up. It's like, no, choose your next words carefully.
As Ray says, like, I never said I'd look you in the eye, and she just isn't looking her in the eye.
The machine god like leans across, is like, messenger, please, you said you behave. And she's like, please be difficult.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, are you
saying
you're misbehaving? Yeah.
Esme looks at his door and is like, yes, this is the problem. We're both awful. and then she looks at me and
Messenger's just like, I'm not awful, you're just wrong.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Esme holds Isidora's hand. It's like, I really wish I could apologize, but I'm not going to.
I know you're not.
You bear this weight well, Isidora.
Uh-huh.
So, my biggest concern at the moment, Messenger. Shh, Coda. Kabiri's not here. I'm kidding. I love you, Coda. Even if you're a horrible demon. No. So Messenger, the question is, how do I prioritize what I need to do? Like, what's the priority here? This is the concern that I'm having. That, like, if we attend a formal gala dinner, one, everyone's going to die because, standard business. And then two, like...
so gloomy. I thought you and him were meant to be like... And she, like, literally just, like... I have to hold on a key to make it, but she just, like, punches the desk over and over again. She's like, why are you so why are you so doom and gloomy?
Esme just like, I don't want to air dirty laundry at the table, but equally he is as repressed as me, if not more so. So that's something that we're going to talk about in a mop closet later. Anyway, as I was saying, what is the priority, Messenger? Because when we need to, start dealing with problems, I am ready. I am here for it. If I'm not just a bit scared.
She takes a deep sigh and she's like, right, so the dinner. No, it's more political thing. They'll more than likely show some, like, sort of, what's the word, like a show of power. Given the recent, like, outbreak, and she quotations, plague in the city, that'll probably be an item of discussion. Just mingle, try to get to the queen if you can. Given the fact that you guys have been personally invited due to your reputation, chances are you'll probably have at least one conversation with her. Try to use it to your best of your advantage. Mingle, keep, like, as much as, again, you guys, I know it's really, like, contradictory to say, like, mingle, but keep your head down. Like, I know you guys have been invited there by name due to your, like, heroes of Erethdor, like, kind of thing. But, don't talk to people you don't have to within reason. Try eavesdrop. It's a political event. There'll be a lot of, like, subterfuge and, like, he says, she says, like, did you hear Jim is like, planning to betray John, who's in charge of this department? You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Yeah, gather as much information as you can, but if after that, just see what their plan is, like the general plan, because like chances are the orchestra will be there, or someone will be. Might not look like an orchestra. Can't see them walking around in vibrant purple and robes with a luminous metallic wizard caps. You know what I mean? Can't see them walking around the room full of all the people in fancy dresses and suits. So, try keeping an ear out. They will be there. They're not going to be there. Like you guys know, you remember now. So they're everywhere when shit's gone down. Get out alive. Can't see anyone dying unless someone starts a fight. You know what I mean? It is a political thing, so it's kind of hard to, buy the side. Well, actually, she's like, it's kind of hard to buy the silence of an entire room. She's like, but then there is that whole reality warping magic they have. So yeah, don't die because chances are no one will remember if you did. So yeah, play it smart. I'd honestly suggest next order of business after that is the Lich. If you're so passionate about the Lich's presence, maybe go kill the Lich. You got a fancy rod. I'm gonna tinker with it. You can get a fancy rod. You know what I mean? Go shoot her in the face. It's not that hard. Have you ever killed a Lich before?
Concern is not passion. Well, no, it probably is. There's a little bit of passion. It's more just she's an undead beast abroad in the world, while there are other problems. It's scary. It's scary.
And the machine god leans forward and is like, yes, an issue, but she does have a cube. She has one of Mother Uria's cubes. If you wish to awaken the sleeping children under the city, you need that cube, my friend.
Where are the other ones? We saw one in a dreamscape, in a hellscape. Do we have to go there?
No, chances are one is still. You saw that near Uria. Chances are one is still in Uria. So there's 4.
Good.
Again, the whole point of the failsafe is that we don't know where they went. And we know one went to Dagnum, which is more than likely the one your Lich friend has because she destroyed a chunk of Dagnum to get it correct. So that's 1. Should be 1 near Uria somewhere, in the immediate region at least. That's 2. As for 3 and 4, I'm not sure. 1 could be near Orion. Uria and Orion were before they descended to what you now know is there. So they were quite close. Chances are 1's there. I would genuinely check there. Again, the whole point of that magic keeping hidden is because it's just part of the failsafe. I know it's really backwards, but again, it's half a city of sleeping population, completely unarmed, bar a vault. Yes. And as for the final one, if you get the other 2 to 3, they'll point you in the right direction. The more of them you bring together, they'll seek out the others because they'll want to repair itself. The failsafe will want to be joined back together, want to be made whole, that kind of thing. Is that fair to say? You definitely know where 1 is.
Very helpful.
So that's you definitely know where 1 is. You don't like the Lich. That's 2 birds with 1 stone, there, friend. Cool. Yeah. So I know it's late. We're going to finish up in a couple of minutes, guys. There's one last item of business to basically kind of get you guys
to if an orchestra member sees us, are they going to be able to tell that we know what's really going on?
That's actually a genuinely good question. Probably not, because a lot of the mind wipes were of serious issue, OMG, we have to redo this thing, or we have to hide this. Chances are, if a random person saw them, they would just kill them. Not delete them from it, but just literally Jane went missing on Sunday and hasn't been seen, that sort of thing. As grim as that sounds, but you guys in particular, maybe they might do some magic given your constant thorn in their side up to this point. But unless one of them gets into your head, which not that it's likely, it's capable, because that's the kind of magic they specialize in, is the mindy, altery stuff, reality shit. So as long as one doesn't get into your head, theoretically you're fine in that sense. But once one gets in, once one knows, they all know, that kind of thing. Okay. They kind of share information in kind of a hive sense. They aren't a hive mind, but they can share information like a hive mind.
Okay.
Right, so as like Izzy essentially asked that question, you hear a door open behind you guys, and we'll end it now in 2 seconds. But basically, you see a Warforged enter, and she's carrying like this fucking massive ass like trunk, like on her, like up on her shoulder, kind of thing. Like, she's got like thick, like cables and chains coming down, for, like again like hair, kind of like they're all like big bolts hanging over, like drooping down like near her ears and stuff. She's got like essentially a nose ring that's like a bolt kind of thing. Or a nut, sorry. Which is all G. But yes, she's like approaching the table, and like she's almost like her robes have been tied at the waist, kind of like overalls, and she's like wearing like a shirt underneath it. Well, not a shirt, but like kind of like a tank toppy kind of thing. And yeah, she looks like she's very serious looking. And she kind of just like doesn't address any of you at the table, just kind of like nods at the machine gun. He nods back. She kind of slams this massive trunk down, and she's like, all right, which one of you lucky fellas is the song weaver?
We all point at Isadora.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, as she's like asking that, she's like like essentially unlocking this case, and she's like, fantastic, cool. So, and she starts like rummaging and like pulls out like it looks like a tuning fork, and she like slides it over to Izzy, and she's like, right, that's yours. And she's like, what? Which one's the bow freak again?
Rizbit?
Oh,
bow freak. Oh,
yeah,
me.
Yeah. She's like, okay, and rummaging, and she pulls out like a single arrow that kind of literally looks like it's glass, but inside the glass is like space, like kind of like cosmosy and all, like colorful nebulas, that sort of stuff. She like slides it over. She's like, don't break it.
Cute.
And she's like, which one? You're the inventor, right? And she like points right at like Coda.
Yes. Yes.
Fantastic. You're gonna have to come with me in a few minutes. And like I know Ian's gone, but Riz was there, and she's like, "And you, Mr. Fucking like, God, I'm Mars. I love Mars." Ooh. And she like gestured, like rummages through the box. She pulls out like a gauntlet. She's like, "You're gonna need this." And she slides it over, and I'll, like essentially like Riz, I would imagine, be like, "Ah, toy," kind of happy out like. And she's like, "Right, so yeah." She's like, "So," and she like basically is kind of like, "I've done my job," and like the machine gun kind of stands up, and he's like, "Right, so, introductions. This is Mustang Sally," and she nods. He's like, "Yeah, we'll go through introductions." But either way, Isadora.
Yes.
While you may deliver the finishing blow, you can't get to such a position without the help of your friends. The tuning fork, well, like that device will help you like hit the right note to destroy the eye. It's like, Esme.
Yeah.
The eye shields are almost impervious to anything but that. Gestures to the arrows. Like, if you can land the shot right, it's like defenses will breach open enough just for Isadora to deliver the blow. Is that okay?
I can do it.
Yeah, and he's like, and like gestures to Rizbit, and he's like, Rizbit, like, the mechanism that holds the eye consists of like certain pillars that need to be interacted with to like essentially push, and like it's real like yeah, it's like basically like a 3-dimensional Rubik's cube in my head. But the only way to touch them is to use that gauntlet, and like you can do such a thing with that. And finally, Icarus.
Yes.
It's like the eye's defenses will be incredibly complex. We're going to need you to not miss a single shot when you're, repelling the defense mechanisms that will be coming for the rest of your friends. Do you think you can do that?
Yes, I can do it.
Don't worry, my good Quartermain, will see to it that your device is improved.
He just bows and says thank you.
Just stop bowing, please, for the love of God. For
I
the love
don't know
of
what
me.
to do. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. I just don't know how to deal with any of this. I'm so sorry.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Literally, like, that's it.
And he's like, now please, there is a few more minor things we must do behind the scenes before we can proceed forward. Please go with Sally. She will take your measurements for the chariots. We need to get you back to where you came from. We can drop you just outside dead, and then Messenger's like Dead Man's Haven. He's like Dead Man's Haven thing. But getting there is we're going to have to do it old school. We can't use magic to get you there because we can't risk it, especially after Polaris sending you up. That's already after sending out the word. So if we do it again, 100% they'll pick you back. So we can't do that. So we're going to do it old school. And he gestures to Sally, and Sally's like, yeah, old school means like, taking chariots through the sky, motherfucker. Y'all have ridden horses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, probably.
We literally have like magical water horses.
This is like fantastic. Do you ever do any jousting? Any mounted bow and arrow and like that?
Absolutely not.
Nope.
Fantastic.
Nope, definitely not.
Sure, probably.
That's gonna make it twice as hard, but 3 times as fun. So yeah, come with me. Like everyone, and like essentially, like some of the others are like, I have questions, and like the machine gun's like, yeah, no, I'll take the questions. So he's gonna stay and like essentially talk to the others, and like Messenger and Mars and himself are like, oh, don't worry, we'll like talk to you again. It's just this is kind of like a brief overview while you guys go with Sally, chat, meet her, Sally's boys, and they can get you bring you up to speed on how we're going to get you home, that sort of thing, and then you can rest and we'll talk again. Is that safe to say? That's all good.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's like fantastic. It's like, again, welcome to my humble abode, and he bows, kind of thing, and gestures to Sally, and Sally's like, right, come on.
Outro music.
Yeah, we'll leave it there, kind of thing.
Ah!
Well,
Can't believe Isadora got given literally the most responsibility.
I know.
I hate to
can't
do
believe you're the protagonist, Amy.
I mean, guys, we're all the protagonists. Izzy can't deliver the final blow if you don't get her there. Like, it's like Sam and Frodo, guys.
How you doing, Amy?
It's okay.
Oh, this is so cool. This is so cool.
Hey, it's all well and good to be, oh, geez, the eye, but that lich, though, guys.
Yeah, I'm so glad that like Laureate actually finally ties into like the other stuff, because I was all like, yeah, we definitely gotta kill Laureate, but I don't know why. At least now there's
Like, at this point, it's kind of like, okay, let's deal with the lich. We can deal with a lich.
yeah, like I feel like we can
Like,
take a
a
lich.
lich is
Yeah,
small
sure.
potatoes.
The lich doesn't come to like literally the end of all existence. Like, yeah, for lich, fine, grand.
I almost like want to recruit her.
I told you! I said that! We should be friends.
Laureate literally was like, hey, this is to be mates.
Maybe we shouldn't be friends with her. I'm more excited about... I'm excited about, like, the incoming other... Like, going to the other facility to just go crazy and kill lots and lots of zombies, and then be like, yeah, we freed up the next facility. It's like, okay, so now you need to go and do something serious. It's like, no!
I mean, the
It's-
dinner is looming. I can't wait for that fucking dinner.
I honestly hope. I will, like, if Celeste and Bal are literally mates, I
No,
will
they
be...
like Celeste is definitely gonna be his avatar now. He was just like to spite you, just went and found her.
He's
She's
going to-
definitely
I'm
a
going to
murder
go for her
fiend.
out. I cannot wait. It's just like, hey.
I mean, I can't wait till we step inside Yuri and I immediately get put to death for murdering a bunch of handmen. Which I did both, like, I actually did, and then I was framed for. So, like, either way, I'm fucked. You guys can do the dinner without me, right?
No.
I'm super boned in that city.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah, guys, I hope that game was fun.
That was so
Come on.
much, Darren.
Seriously, congratulations.
That was
Thank you.
amazing. Like, you've clearly been holding that shit in for like a year, and like, I'm so
So
glad that we got it finally, because that was so cool.
My favorite part was I had no idea we were going to get like resolution. So I just went in with the expectation of further delayed gratification after yelling at a literal demigod. I was like, no, now you're getting everything you want. It's like, no, it's too much. Get it away.
I love how you were like confronted with several gods in this, and your first instinct was just constantly to sass them and shout at them and be aggressive and defensive. It was just like so much going on.
But I stand
was
by
great.
the best part was just being really like, most of it was being mean to Coda. That was funny. But
I just liked it when it was just like Messenger was like, heard you were talking shit and I wouldn't find out.
Messenger is just like equally as terrible.
Yeah, I love Pelor sent an Esme-like person to deal with Esme because no one else could.
Oh my
Pelor,
god.
Pelor has a type.
No. She's Esme from the future.
Oh god.
The
Oh,
best
she
part.
is. Oh, she
the
is.
best part.
Oh.
It's like, who could be the most sassy? It's like Esme, but to herself. It's like, yes.
Oh, it is.
Guys,
No,
don't be
I
silly.
love-
Pelor is only the god of light and time. Don't be silly.
Oh.
Her shoulder pads literally have like, hourglasses embossed on them. It's fine.
Oh,
Stop.
God.
No, my favorite thing was what was it? It was just like the thing that I had planned, but I didn't realize that I had planned. Where it was like Esme's going last. And it's because Esme doesn't want to talk to anyone about anything she's done. She's just like, this is so miserable.
Esme got to shout at a lot of gods this week, and I think it was very cathartic for her.
I really wanted one of them to throw her through a wall or something. I was just like, just stop. And I was like, okay.
I
Okay,
loved her
speaking of-
shrinking down in the chair, though.
Oh.
Like a
Okay.
child being given out to. There, yeah, I should really go to bed because I have like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I don't,
me
I
too.
don't want to keep you guys up any longer. So good night.
Yeah.
guys.
Good night.
Good
Oh, I should
night.
stop the
Good night,
stream,
guys.
shouldn't I? Yeah.
Adios.
Good night, stream.
Good night,
Oh,
stream.
good night. Jeez.